Calling all sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing. And is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Rowe.
Just open up with it, all right? Just
Fox Sports 910.
Lissick on the run.
Guys are hot.
CAZ way out.
Fox as well.
Tim way
Tim Weah with the goal. The only goal right now is Team USA over Wales, 1-0 in the World Cup halftime right now, and that's a good way to start. Get that goal, and it's interesting. You look at stats in soccer, and I know many of you played soccer. But, looking at the stats and of the match, and 7 fouls for USA, 4 for Wales, yellow cards, red cards, all that kind of stuff. Saves.
Yes.
0 saves for USA and 1 save for Wales.
That's it.
How is this sport so popular?
It must be all of the matriculation going on out in the field that's happened. The passes, the sets, the this. I don't know, Rock. I'm like you. My daughter played for many years. I helped coach, and I still kind of, thank God I had a coach that played the game. She told me how to get girls set up and where to go and how to go and the whole 9 yards. I'm like, okay. And, as long as my daughter loved it, I bought him. But I'm like you, Rock. I'm like, okay. Can we get more shots on goal once in a while? I mean,
through 3-2 in shots.
Why do you think it's not a major sport in the United States? That's why there's lack of scoring.
Yeah.
And the rules are designed to not score. They make it difficult with the rules for you to get a goal. So when a goal is scored, everybody goes crazy.
It's a monumental event.
It is. Absolutely.
You can see that
It's a
now.
cataclysmic catastrophe.
England beat Iran today 6-2. Netherlands won also today, if you're keeping score at home. But it's a mess with what's going on there in
No
that country.
beer.
It is so bad, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
There were ticket problems today for United States. It's just an absolute mess. But FIFA announced that they've made billions of dollars.
Well, of course they have.
Sure, FIFA did.
They've done.
Was that legitimately or under the table or on the back
They're
door?
the
I don't
biggest
know.
scoundrels on the planet.
I don't know. But Team USA, the men's soccer team, up 1-0 against Wales. And the second half getting underway here. Just a minute. We'll keep you up to speed throughout the match. But let's get into what's making some noise this hour on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B out here at Casino, Arizona.
Time for the top local and national stories of the hour. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Bet big on your favorite teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no better place in the Valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
It's Cardinals. Cardinals are south of the border in Mexico to face the 49ers tonight, 6:15. Come on out. Join us here at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, where you can win some cash, over $2,500 in the Progressive Jackpot. We're doing some squares. We're doing props. We're doing it all here at Casino, Arizona, the CAZ Sports Bar. And they got the new sports book, which I left my ticket at home. Oh, you cashed it in.
Rock.
2 weeks in a row.
Whoa.
Bobcats. I got to give you $38.
You big bomber, you.
No, that's $5 bets are working, man. I'm like doing well. But we're gonna get a lot of Cardinal talk today here on a Monday. Of course, we'll wrap up what we saw yesterday and last night in the National Football League. But Rudy Carpenter's going to join us this hour, so we'll get into that in just a bit. We will also kind of break it all down as they head to Mexico tonight to face the 49ers, who are not hurt at all. We do know that multiple reports today that Kyler Murray will not go today. Most likely won't go next week either and take the bye week off, so he won't play against the Chargers when they come in town next week. But little gamesmanship, I think, for the Cardinals over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, man.
They kept saying he's going to play, possibly.
Manuch said that 2 weeks ago when he got hurt. He said, I wouldn't play him till after the bye week. I hate it when Manuch is right.
Doesn't happen very often, but
No,
you got
it
to call it out when he does.
Hey,
I got to call it out when he does. Every
Everyone's-
blind square, here it comes.
That's it.
Every
Yep.
once in a while,
See?
a blind
Go.
squirrel finds another.
There you go,
That's
Manuch.
it.
Let me knock that acorn out, gentlemen.
Oh,
Let me
man.
enjoy it. Yeah, this is interesting because they had him try to go 100 yards on Friday, just kind of test it out. He gets halfway through. It's kind of tweaking a little bit, but he can't really open up on it. But I think this is really, guys, the blessing in disguise to have Colt McCoy as the guy that beat this 49ers team last year. Was it like 31-17?
Much different team.
I got it. Understand that. But all things being said, I just think this team operates better under Colt McCoy in reference to running the offense and understanding the linemen that are actually healthy. And there'll be one offensive lineman that's starting. It's Beecham will be the only one starting.
So what's that? If my math is right, 80% of the starting rotation is out.
Basically.
Got it.
Hollywood Brown is also not going to play. That's come out
Byron
today.
Murphy's out.
Byron Murphy's out.
They're a mash unit.
They really are. So I just think as far as the poise and calmness and know where to go with the ball, get rid of the ball, is the best bet for Colt McCoy, who can manage this offense and understand what I really feel that Cliff King wants to do with this offense against a very stout and very good 5-4 defense. It might be the best defense in the National Football League.
Yesterday, all 5 Sun starters scored in double figures as they cruised past the Knicks 116-95 here in Phoenix. 4-game homestand as campaign put up 21, 9 assists. Started once again with Chris Paul being out with that injured heel. Devin Booker added 20. Interesting reports today. Say it ain't so.
Uh-oh.
Be careful.
Devin Booker, Kendall Jenner, have reportedly decided to call it quits.
Oh, say it
Yeah.
not so.
TMZ Sports.
Man.
Yep.
man.
Per TMZ Sports.
Yeah.
They split up, citing their hectic work schedules. Couldn't make it work. Couldn't make it work. I love some of the tweets out there. No more Kardashian curse. Son's going back to the finals. This explains why he's good again.
Yeah, could be.
Booker MVP.
Yep.
The list goes on and on.
So-
You had to squeeze that in there.
He probably had a conversation with Tom Brady and said, yeah, that was enough for me. So,
Yep.
all right, Dev, do the same
So-
I don't
thing.
know. Kendall Jackson.
Kendall Jenner.
Kendall
Jenner,
Jenner.
yeah.
Man.
So does Jax have a shot now?
Kendall Jackson.
Does
That's good
Jackson-
wine. I like the
Yeah,
white.
it's a very good wine. Had some of that on Saturday night, as a matter of fact. Just so Jax has a chance.
Yeah,
Get in
Jax is in.
No, he
back.
doesn't. He can't even close it at Twin Peaks.
Oh,
You
man.
think he's going to be able to close it with Kendall Jenner?
Well, that's the minor leagues at Twin Peaks, and then maybe he moves. Who knows? Maybe they call him up, but you think of all that stuff, and to your point, Rob, maybe it is a lot better that he's playing better basketball, playing MVP basketball right now up there with Giannis and with the kid named Luka out of Dallas. Not playing bad either.
Additional reports, too, according to The Athletic, there's some interest that the Suns are interested in Kyle Kuzma.
Yep.
Currently plays for the Wizards. He's an NBA champion.
Yes.
So
With the LA
We'll
Lakers.
see if that happens. So Suns are in the news at a very high level.
And I think this is the third straight game the all Suns starters have scored 10 points or more, which is to speak volumes. You don't have one of your Cam Johnson there as your starter. Basically, look at Craig. He's averaged 10, 11, 12, had 14 yesterday. So third straight game. Suns starters all in 10 plus. Going to show you maybe they the operation of running the offense a little better without Cam Johnson. Not, but good to see them picking up the slack with him being out.
I'm just going to say that it looks really good, but yesterday's game or the other day's game was against the Knicks.
Yesterday.
Who aren't very good
No,
at
sure.
all.
They beat them, though.
But
Gotta win those.
But you have to play who's on your schedule.
That's right.
And they did exactly what they should have done, and that is take care of business and blew them out.
10-6 on the season now. 8-1 at home.
Yeah.
8-1 at home. Over the weekend, we sent out our own Jimmy B, and the Devils got crushed.
Oh boy,
by Oregon State, 31-7.
that was ugly.
They slipped to 3-8, third straight loss. They'll finish the season. I think it's a 1-1:30 game against Arizona down in Tucson on Friday. Wildcats, they lost to Washington State 31-20 after they had beat UCLA the week before. They're now not going to go to a bowl. But homecoming, man, that just sucks to be there. Be at homecoming, Jimmy, and they just laid an egg.
I can tell you right now from witnessing that game, they're dreadful.
They are.
And
Oregon State puts up 440 plus yards.
And I have no idea how they played so well against UCLA, and then how they played so well against Washington, and then be so pitiful when it was a homecoming game. And you had around 40,000 there, a lot of empty seats, but they announced over 40,000. Look, the stadium's fun to go to. The conditions were absolutely spectacular.
Oh, it's a great day.
It was
for
a
football.
great day for
fall
football.
weather,
It
right?
was,
In the Midwest,
it was awesome.
you would think.
I will tell you this, guys. It's interesting. A lot of misdirection. Don't be afraid to cover a tight end once in a while.
There you go.
Martinez ran, I think he was averaging 5.5 yards per carry for Oregon State.
He just ran over.
They ran the ball well, though.
They ran the ball. That was their only saving grace. I mean, it was close until halftime, and by the next two scores in that third quarter by Oregon State, it was interesting to see the entire student section pretty much dissolved at the very end of the third quarter, unfortunately. But a lot of missed tackles. I thought this ASU defense looked really gassed and tired. A lot of misdirection, a lot of broken assignments, people running wide open across the field.
Yes.
NAU football lost a heartbreaker,
Oh,
man. They fell to Weber State 33-31. Weber State 9-2 on the season, 6-2 in the Big Sky, as their kicker nailed a short field goal with just 5 seconds to play. They could have stole one there, man. They could have stolen. They only lost by 2. That just sucks. Would have liked to seen Lumberjacks head coach Chris Ball get a win there.
I've seen, like, the last, Manuch, correct me here if I'm wrong, 4 or 5 games they have lost on not last seconds field goals, but they have lost by
5 losses in the last minute.
There you go.
That's what Coach Ball said afterwards.
Yeah. 5 losses in the last minute.
And last week they had a chance to win last week's game, and they missed a field goal, and they allow a field goal here. Again, it's just getting that defense. They've got the offense. They can move the ball. It's just finding a stout defense, going and recruiting some top linebackers and defensive backs that can make some stops in critical situations.
Real quick, some hoops. At number 14, Arizona's got Cincy tonight, 3-1 Cincy. Arizona's 3-0, and the Maui Invitational game's on at 9:30 tonight on ESPN2. ASU Sun Devils, they got Grambling tomorrow in Tempe. So there's some of the games that are going on. Elsewhere, GCU will meet with Wichita State today in Kansas City. It's a home game for Wichita State there at Kansas State. Well, again, U.S. men's national team, they kicked off earlier today around noon. It's 1-0 right now over Wales. We'll play that goal for you if you haven't heard it coming up right after this. It's a React Monday, but we're really just reacting on what we hope to see tonight as the Cardinals play the 49ers. But we will play the goal coming back from the next break. Also, coming up in just about 15 minutes, Rudy Carpenter, get his thoughts on what Colt McCoy will need to do to get a W for the Cardinals tonight. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B. We're out here at Casino, Arizona. Jackpot is over $2,500 starting to pile up. Hope you come out and watch the Cardinals 49ers with us tonight as the doors open at 4 o'clock. This is Fox Sports 910.
You know who the most famous player is, or famous person, I should say, to ever come out of Wales?
Tom Jones.
That's correct.
Tom Jones.
It's not unusual to be mad at anyone.
Circa 1967, great show. It was
So
on every
you got to
Sunday
be
night.
born in the 50s or 60s to know that.
He
Right?
he was at residency in Las Vegas for many
long
years.
time.
Yeah, he was there.
I hung out with him when I would do the show there with Pete Rose.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Tom Jones, the infamous Tom Jones.
The infamous one.
Oh.
He's hanging at our table. Well, Pete knew everybody.
Sure.
So Tom was a big sports fan. So he would come by when he was playing in the big showroom. He'd come by and hang out.
He has
on the,
one song,
Here we go.
right? This is
Oh,
it.
no.
It's not unusual.
No.
And the only
He
reason
has-
why this song is popular is from the guy. What's the guy that does the
That's it,
dance?
yes.
Who's that guy?
Oh, he was in
Fresh Prince.
yeah, Fresh Prince.
And
Carlton.
then he's Carlton. Yeah, that's what it's called, the Carlton, right? That's how the young people know this song or know who Tom Jones is.
Yeah.
He was in some movie too, I think that he
He's
played.
been in lots of. He's had lots of hits. The guy's a
Yeah, he
freaking
has.
stud. He's like 88 years old now.
and
Does
still
he still
busting a
play?
move. Yeah, he does.
Where?
He's
Vegas?
in Vegas
Yeah.
once in a while. Yeah, he's still
Still got a voice.
one of the gals. All the gals would show up, throw everything,
Throw
in
all their underwear at
Oh,
at
him.
him on the
jeez.
stage. Yeah, he
Kind of
was
like what
Speaking
they
of
do here at
gals-
Rock, the guys throw underwear at you, right?
Speaking of gals,
the guys do.
something
Excuse
happened
me?
today. Something happened
Yeah.
today
Rocky
that made history.
Okay.
Brown University baseball team.
Uh-huh.
Olivia Pichardo officially made the team.
Wow.
First female in history to be on an active NCAA Division I baseball
Well, that's
varsity.
awesome. What position
She a
does she
pitcher?
play?
I do not know her position.
Okay.
The pictures I've seen is she was a pitcher. Yes, I don't know the position she's playing.
Boy, she must really.
I just
bring
saw
it if
the
that's
report.
The case.
Rock,
yeah.
remember they had how long ago was it? There was like the
Coors Light,
the silver bullets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that's when I was with the Firebirds in the '90s.
right.
They would come and do an exhibition and play.
Yeah.
Was that Rosie Black at that time?
No, but
pitcher?
it was an all-female team.
Yeah.
and they were they're decent pitching and they played decent. But guys, if they played any of the guys out there, they would get crushed. But it was kind of a novelty kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And I remember I'd fill it in.
By the way, she's a walk-on.
Are you?
Walk-on.
Wow. I mean, that's
You
awesome.
gotta have a little bit of skills.
That's awesome. She's got great game.
Aren't
if
you
that's
guys
the case.
surprised that this has not happened sooner?
I am a little bit.
Well, there have been plenty of women that have tried out for many colleges over the years, small colleges, JUCOs, you name it. I mean, a lot of them that I've
She's
seen
a
have been
utility
pitchers.
player
Okay.
who could play both the infield and outfield.
Wow. She's got speed and an arm then if she's a utility player. She's playing third
kinda
base.
cool.
She's got to throw it across the diamond.
That'll piece some people for a while.
Yeah.
Get them in the flow. Get them
By the way-
brown baseball.
By the way, Benjamin, do you have the sound of President Biden? Did you pull that for me?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to play this. So
Tell me when.
listen. So our president, President Biden, I thought it was really cool that he called the U.S. men's soccer team.
Yes.
Okay.
Listen how excited this team was upon getting the call.
Here we go, guys. Showtime, guys. You ready? It says POTUS. That's where it's coming from.
Sir, you have the U.S. men's national soccer team.
Coach, put me in. I'm ready to play. You guys, I know you're the underdog, but tell you what, man, you got some of the best players in the world on your team, and you're representing this country, and I know you're going to play your hearts out. So let's go shock them all. Keep trusting in one another. Play as hard as you can, and for you and your families, your teammates, and the whole country is rooting for you.
That's a very nice message, Mr. President. The whole team is here right now. We really appreciate your support, and we're ready to go. Guys, you want to say hi?
That's it.
You get any of that?
I got some.
What do you want me to do?
President of the United States, how you not give him a bigger warm? I mean, like a huge, get rowdy. You're playing in a World Cup.
But after that call, they said they're like, yeah, they
No, whatever.
You edited that, Rocky.
Oh, I did not touch it. I watched it. It's all over Twitter. I pulled it. That's why I wanted to play it to get a reaction. if the president of the United States is calling to greet you, you're playing for an entire country.
Sure.
And the president, that is so kick-ass that he called.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the reaction was so minimal.
They're like, hey, Mr. President. Hey, Mr. President.
Hey, say it, play it again. The coach even says, hey, guys,
he was
the president.
Yeah, he was POTUS.
Then play it again. Watch.
That's a very nice message, Mr. President. The whole team is here right now. We really appreciate your support, and we're ready to go. Guys, you want to say hi?
They didn't want to say hi.
Hey, Mr. President, how you doing?
Come on. But they just once agree with the right side, man.
After they clapped. You said, that's nice after the president. They're all like, yeah, nice.
Yeah, but
afterwards.
when he's already hung up.
Well, so what?
It's not even the call's already hung up. Why are they going to hung up?
He's like, say hi, everybody. Hey,
hey, no, whatever.
See,
she voted for him.
The misconstrued. Yeah.
Guaranteed they get a much bigger reaction if the old president
it
called.
inspired them to take the lead here.
I don't know. They're up 1-0. That's good.
Yeah,
That's why, dude.
See, there you
again, I thought it was kick-ass that he called.
Yeah.
I just would assume that
I
if
thought
the
the reaction
president
would have been different.
I just thought it'd be a little heavy, a little bit more energized. That's all.
They're all sitting down there hanging out. Hey, Mr.
Yeah.
President, that's thank you.
The president calls every week.
Yeah.
It's something that. Come on, this is what you're playing for. You're playing for your president.
He says, say hi, not everybody cheer for loud. Hey, how you doing?
Come on. Well, you even heard the coach. Oh, yeah, we're ready. You know,
yeah, they were
ready.
The president calls. You're jacked. I mean, come on. You're excited that he's taking the time to give you a call.
They probably were stunned and they really didn't know what to do. I would have said, woohoo!
I would have been excited as hell that freaking
the president's calling.
President of the United States.
I just hope half of them knew the hell who he was that was calling in.
And if you're playing for the United States, you know who
I know, right?
Commander in Chief is.
Yeah, they
like him or not, you know who he is.
Yeah, but I thought it was very classy for him to do that. And I thought they reacted very well, things considered.
What do you think's considered? What should they consider?
And then they applauded for him when he hung. Hey, all right, it was nice. He was after that.
Yeah, wait, not.
So what?
Wouldn't you want the president to hear you after he said those nice words?
He did hear him. He heard him. Hey, Mr. President, thank you. He heard him.
And then they hang up, and then you
yell
clap
at him.
Then you clap after.
Much to
knowing that everyone's taping it.
Okay, there you go. Making something about nothing. They were connected. They acknowledged him, Rob.
All I'm pointing out.
Said, hey, yo.
All I'm pointing out is
I
expected a bigger response when, hey, I got the whole team here. Hey, say hi to the president.
Hey, they're focused on it down low, man. They are dialed in.
This is not today. This was yesterday. Who knows? You know the local time this game started was 10:30.
Yeah.
10:30 p.m.
Yep.
That's just wrong.
Yeah.
Over there, yeah.
Well, they're going into the early hours of the morning as well with some of these games.
I understand that, but it's just 10:30.
Well,
how long do you think it got them
you got all the teams.
Let me tell you what.
They don't have enough
FIFA got either hoodwinked with playing in Qatar or they totally scammed playing in Qatar. And I think it's the second one.
I think it's the scam.
I think it's
totally Qatar. What did I say? Qatar?
Yeah,
Qatar?
it's Qatar.
Yeah,
Qatar.
You got a guitar?
Yeah, Qatar.
Can you play the guitar?
I did. I do play the guitar.
No, shut up.
I can play Louis.
Shut
Louis.
the front door, dude.
G, D, C, F.
You can play a Jackson. What's that video game where you play the guitar?
The air guitar.
Air
Oh,
guitar.
guitar. Yeah.
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero.
Yeah. Well, I can play a little guitar. Absolutely.
Whatever.
You make me feel so very happy by Van Morris. I can play that, pick that a little bit. Oh yeah, Rock. I took guitar lessons in 7th and 8th grade.
You're delirious.
I used to ride my bike.
I think you just embellish so
I
much
used to
on
ride
the
my-
air.
I used to ride my bike from McClintock.
When you went to McClintock, did you take a class in high school how to embellish?
No.
This is what radio shtick is. You learned that at K-State?
I took Mrs. Welch was my speech, and Mrs. Stevens was English. So speech in English. Yeah.
I've never questioned your English because I have no room to talk there.
I rode my bike with my guitar in my basket from McClintock and Southern down to Millen Southern to take guitar lessons. They're at the southeast corner.
So Jimmy, what you do this weekend? Did you do anything else?
I went to the
game, right?
football game. Yeah.
I could
you want to talk to Rudy Carpenter next?
Yeah,
I could jam.
that game.
Let's talk to Rudy next.
Yeah,
right? All right.
Jimmy,
Rock and Jimmy B will continue from Casino, Arizona.
And let me
on
jam
Fox
for y'all.
Sports
A
910.
little acoustic with this.
What's trending on Fox Sports 9? went 3-1 against that team in Tucson.
Carpenter going to go up with time, steps up, looks end zone.
Looks like he just got cleated.
Touchdown! Rudy Carpenter threw that right into the teeth, into the strength of the Wildcat defense.
Rudy Carpenter.
All right, you guys are hot.
On Roc and Manuch on Fox Sports 910 on FM at 99.9 HD2.
For those you keeping track, Team USA in the World Cup up 1-0 over Wales. It's in the second half of that one, so we'll keep you up to speed on that. But Rudy Carpenter joins us down the right to a guest line here on Fox Sports 910. How you making out today, Rudy?
Oh, I'm living the dream. How are you guys?
Oh, ditto. Living the dream as well. We found out today that Manuch plays the guitar. We did not know that. So that was some big news. That was our breaking news today. We were trying to go down. We wanted to talk about Kyler Murray. It looks as though he's not going to play until after the bye week now, Rudy. That is the report. What is your thoughts on Colt McCoy holding this Ford up and winning some more games?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's always difficult to play well and to win with a backup quarterback. I mean, it doesn't really matter who your backup is. It's always difficult to do. It really is. But Colt does possess a lot of really good skills and a lot of skills that translate well to this offense. He's accurate. He makes good decisions. He has good anticipation. He can throw guys open. He makes quick decisions, right? And to me, that's, kind of the things that this offense is predicated on. And so and plus Colt is a smart guy who understands situational football, everything else. And so I think just like last year, he'll be able to come in and I think, hold the fort down and be able to maybe win a game or two. But whether or not, they go undefeated or whatever, I don't see that happening. And whether or not there's going to be a quarterback controversy, I don't see that happening either, because at the end of the day, Kyler Murray is their quarterback and he's the franchise guy that they paid, and they're not going to go to somebody else just because, he had a good stretch of games as a starter.
Do you think the hamstring is more than just a hamstring if it's going to be 4 weeks?
I mean, just from my experience, I hate speculating on injuries because you just never know. I honestly have no idea. So I really don't know. What I imagine though is that this organization, everybody involved, from ownership to general manager to head coach to everybody, that they're trying to make the best decision for the football team and the best decision for the organization. And so this is obviously what they felt that decision was.
Rudy, with this stout front seven of San Francisco, and you watch what Colt can do, and the running game, they're very tough. What do you think will be the best game plan with Colt McCoy to take on this very stout San Francisco 49ers team?
Well, this team is good, and like I said, that's where it's very important to be able to make quick decisions, get the ball out of your hands, use your quick game as your run game, essentially. Hopefully they can be efficient in the run game. When they get chances, Colt's going to have to take chances down the football field and hopefully create some big explosive plays. This defense is very good. I still think the Cardinals can compete in this game and win with Colt, because I'm just not a believer in what this 49ers offense can do right now. And
then watching that offense, the Cardinals defense, receiver-wise, looks like Hollywood Brown will not play in this game. So is Rondale Moore the big hitter to take this team stretch the field, or do you think that they'll try to get more out of Robbie Anderson against this kind of a defense?
Well, they'd love to get more out of both those guys. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is obviously a great player. It really, really hurts not to have Hollywood Brown ready to play, but at the end of the day, you need your superstars to be good, and then you need your backup players and or depth players to come in and play well when their name is called, right? And if that's Rondale Moore this week, then that's him this week. But Robbie Anderson is still a very good football player and can make big explosive plays for this team, and hopefully they can get him involved in this offense.
All right, here's what I want to know. I want to know how the defense is going to deal with Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. We saw what both of them can do and how they can light you up so quickly. How's that defense going to react?
That's a good question, because those guys are very, very, very difficult to defend. Both are very, very special players, and they're very, very special with the ball in their hands. The other thing for a coaching staff, it's a nightmare, because how do you identify him? Is Deebo Samuel a running back? He is the wide receiver. Christian McCaffrey, is he a running back or is he a wide receiver? Because that's going to dictate your personnel on defense. So obviously it'll be interesting to see that little chess match and how these teams, have prepared for it. I like Kyle Shanahan, the scheme that he runs, and you better believe he's going to find all kinds of ways to get the ball to Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey in this game tonight.
Yeah, I want to move on, talk about Arizona State. They got Arizona this week. You were 3-1 against Arizona. What is your fondest memory of playing against the Cats?
Oh man, that's like a really difficult question. It was a fun rivalry, a lot of fun games, a lot of fun moments. I think, interestingly, probably enough, like I think a lot more about the game that we lost to them than the other three that we won when I was a starter. But I think to try to give an answer, I think the first time I got a chance to start and play against them is probably my fondest memory. I was very, very sick that game, and played horrible. I played horrible that game, but made one play at the end of the game that essentially got us a field goal to win it. And it was the first time I was a freshman, the whole 9 yards. And for me, it was a cool experience. Just first time playing in that football game the day after Thanksgiving. So that was fun.
So, Rudy, Rock asked about the memories. Is there certain plays that takes you back? You can still think, is it the plays you made or is it the plays you missed that you think about the most in that rivalry?
Probably all of them. But, for me, one of the plays that I think about a lot happened in the same game. It was in 2007, and I essentially threw like an underhanded flip pass from like the 5-yard line to the back of the end zone to Tyrese Thompson. That was a huge play in the football game. And I think it was Tyrese Thompson's only touchdown catch in his career on senior night. Obviously, there was a lot of tragedy around Tyrese and what happened to him a few years after that. So big-time play for him, big memory. But there's also another great play in that game on a slant and go where Chris McGaha made an unbelievable catch against Anton Kaysen. I think, from ASU's standpoint, there's a lot of famous pictures of that catch where he pinned the ball against his helmet, basically. But really, really cool play.
I'd like to know, does your underground sources have any information as far as the coaching search?
I honestly, I have no idea. Look, I think it's interesting. I'm close friends with some of the candidates who have been mentioned, especially some of the local guys who have been mentioned. When I talk to their agents who I'm good friends with, they say we have not been contacted by anybody, but these names are being rumored. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. What I do know is that probably after this week, unfortunately for Sean Aguano, he's probably not going to be in the mix anymore.
Right.
So let me ask you, Deion Sanders has been now he's in talks with South Florida and Colorado. Would you have liked to see as an alum, if Deion Sanders was in the mix, would you be for it?
Sure, I'm for anything. There's been a lot of coaching changes while I was in school and after, and I've had my opinions on all of them, and I've literally been wrong every single time. So it's like it's an impossible game to play. Who knows what's going to happen? I just hope that essentially ASU finds a coach that can come here and stay here for a long time, because in my view, that's what it takes to build a program with some traditions. I think Utah is the model that we probably need to look at.
And speaking of that, what I'm hearing, and I don't know, Kenny Dillingham, offensive coordinator for Oregon. If Sean Aguano is going to have that shot, will he have to beat U of A this weekend to have that be part of that ring of potential candidates?
I think so. I think so. I like Sean. He's a good dude. I hope he gets a chance. I hope he gets an interview. I'm sure he will. But I think where they played last week probably really, really, really hurt his chances, to be honest with you.
Rudy, quickly, your thoughts on what we witnessed over the weekend, USC and UCLA, one of the wildest football games that we had this past weekend.
What defense?
Yeah. Really, 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 really great game. And honestly, in my view, very important for the Pac-12. It's so much better for the Pac-12 when we got teams that are good, and playing each other. And then when they have those national games, that they're playing really well, and those games are really good football games. So to me, I think the Rose Bowl is one of the coolest places in college football. The Coliseum, same thing. So obviously I was excited to watch the game.
Rudy, have a great Thanksgiving, you and your family. Thanks as always for making time for us.
All right, guys. Thank you. You too. Take care.
Rudy Carpenter joining us. Appreciate him taking some time. He's driven by All City Towing. If you're looking for a career change, All City Towing continues to hire. Head to allcitytowing.com as they have current and immediate full-time positions available, incredible benefits, a 401k program with a generous company match. The fastest way to apply is online. So go to allcitytowing.com and just search careers. That's allcitytowing.com. I, as a guy that likes to do this Monday through Friday from 1 to 4, would love Deion Sanders to be the head coach.
That would be terrific.
It would create an identity for the university, which they desperately need.
Talk about
the
buzz.
city needs a Deion Sanders. I mean, you think about what we have in this market. The Cardinals, okay, they're if they lose tonight, which they may by a couple touchdowns, unless there's some big time turnovers, the defense scores a couple. It could be a long night for San Francisco. I mean, for the Arizona Cardinals. But I just think that there's no identity for any of the four major teams, and you throw Arizona State in there. And, great. Hey, Bobby Hurley got by Michigan. Let's see if they can continue that into Pac-12 play.
Yep.
But right now, man, the city needs a little bit of a bump, right? I mean, put us on the map.
It needs juice. It
Thank you. Juice is the word I need.
Not only that,
Deion brings it.
He can go get those players, those recruits. Hell, he can go get them from Florida and get them in Texas, California. I mean, anytime Deion comes to your house, Coach Prime, you're going to listen because he's going to tell you how it is. He's not going to sugarcoat anything. And what he did at Jackson State,
unbelievable.
It's incredible with the city where it is, with the lack of accommodations that they've had. For him to turn that into a winning program with the athletes that he's had, and obviously his son has helped that a lot, being the quarterback. But I'd have no problem with Deion Sanders becoming the head coach. Go get the athletes. Selfishly, go get the guys that are dudes. 1 and 2 tier. Nah, if you go get 3, 4, 5-star guys to come in here and have that talent, and to your point, Jimmy, that he can bring juice to that offense, bring it. I mean, this I would say football program at ASU, I would say the football administration needs a total overhaul for that. I'm talking basketball, baseball, football, you name it. They need a total overhaul to get this thing back on track. It may take 3 or 4 years, but I think he could do it by getting the quality athletes.
We talk about rivalries. We asked Rudy about Arizona State. So this week, of course, Ohio State, Michigan.
Yes.
Probably arguably one of the best rivalries in college football.
Agreed.
Ohio State decided their equipment staff added a navy blue yellow tape on their helmets that look like the Wolverines.
On the Ohio State Buckeyes helmet?
Ohio State practice.
Oh, on the practice.
Helmet.
Okay, good. I'm glad you qualified. Boy, that'd be some serious.
They're looking for a little
ammo.
Revenge. They've owned the Wolverines for so many years.
Yeah, they have.
Except last season.
It's last season, and Michigan beat them up good.
And everything's on the line for this one.
And
for the game.
You've got
How crazy is that?
You got to have a beaten up backfield at Ohio State too. The third string kid came in, but they're deep.
Yeah, but that third string would start anywhere.
They got 3-4 guys deep that are 4 or 5-star guys.
Oh yeah.
So 1-1, by the way, 1-1 with USA and Wales. That's not good, right? 1-1. Am I right on that, Ben?
I think I'm seeing.
Yeah, Gareth Bale PK was what ended up tying the score.
Shit.
Yeah, it was a penalty kick.
So how much did it cost the Bills to move their game yesterday to Detroit?
Interesting.
Plus, the NFL came down with a new alcohol policy. Well, kind of new, but we'll discuss that next as you're listening to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. As we continue from the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, the home of the new sports book. It's Fox Sports 910.
You back.
This day, and then over to you guys.
That past becomes your future, and your former present becomes the past.
A quick reflection on some of the more memorable moments in sports and pop culture. Time for your 72 Sold on This Day report. Get our price, a higher price.
Guys are at
72sold.com.
1981, BYU's Jim McMahon threw for 552 yards in their win over Utah, 56-28. Always nice to do against your rival. But what was big in that game was Gordon Hudson set an NCAA record for yards gained by a tight end, 259.
Yeah,
how about that?
That offense always utilized their tight end. You had Christian, who was a former tight end for the Raiders.
For the Raiders and 49ers.
Yeah, he had a Todd Christensen.
Todd Christensen.
Yeah. He have a hell of
He was more of a wide receiver.
No, he was a tight end.
He was a tight end, but he
had that look as a wide receiver.
Yes,
that's my point, like a Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, he was one of the first tight ends that really, when the game started to change into more of a passing game, he was the first guy to really break out.
I remember when we played them my junior year, Mark Wilson was a backup. Gifford Nelson was a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Christensen was a tight end. He must have had like 8 or 9 catches. I'm like, he's a tight end.
Yeah.
And at that point, with that West Coast offense starting to finally come alive, but 552 yards in one game, it took me half a year to get that many yards, Rock.
Speaking of that, on this day, Manuch, you were out of work. The NFL resumed play after 7 weeks of the season were canceled when the NFL PA went on strike on September 23rd. Manuch came driving back to Phoenix looking for a job.
Well, it's interesting. Got cut before that season started, so got my guaranteed game checks for the first 2 games, and they went on strike.
What were those checks? Do you remember how much?
I was scheduled to make $100,000 that year. So if you do the math, I don't know. And then what happened after it's all said and done, they didn't pay me during those 9 weeks. I wasn't a member of the bargaining unit, even on a guaranteed contract. So I had to file a grievance to collect the checks that I did not have by a signed guaranteed contract by the one and only Bart Starr.
Wow.
So
Is that when you learned to play the guitar with all that
brother,
all that free time you had?
I had a lot of time to play that guitar. I remember that during that time, Steve Jordan, who's a tight end for the Minnesota Vikings, became an all-pro tight end.
I remember him.
We worked out almost every other day, to keep my arm in shape, but just keep him in shape. He was still on a roster.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get picked up, but Steve, we threw almost every other day, hardest working individual tight end, and now I can see why he was a all-pro tight end for many, many years with the Vikings.
Today's On This Day report is powered by 72 Sold. Every day it is. America's leading home selling program. Home sellers, you need 72 Sold more than ever. 72 Sold has a solution for today's home seller market. There's no better way to sell your home than 72 Sold. You're making a mistake if you're going the traditional route. Let 72 Sold show you the top market price for your home. Go to 72sold.com. Get your price, a higher price at 72sold.com. Well, the Bills will have to reimburse more than 70,000 ticket holders after the game against the Browns, of course, got moved from Highmark Stadium to Ford Field in Detroit. Their season ticket holders and those who purchase single game tickets. Imagine if you bought it through a third party.
There you go.
You'd be screwed, right? Like Vivid Seats. Unless if you went Ticketmaster or NFL Ticket Exchange, you'd be reimbursed. But moving the game meant a loss of $8 million in ticket revenue. Wow. Not to mention you lose out on parking and concession revenue.
Yep.
Then you got to add all that expense for traveling.
Sure.
You got to stay in Detroit.
Yeah.
But how about that? And they didn't have a lot of time. I mean, those tickets went on sale like Friday afternoon to all the Bills season ticket holders. So the NFL also has reminded all 32 teams about their league's policy that prohibits alcohol in the locker room and on team planes. I remember myself just as a small intern, not to Manuch's level, but I remember I was with the Colts in '89. We flew back from Lambeau and we flew back from New Orleans.
What's in that bag, Rock?
And I remember you got a box lunch and 2 Miller Lights.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. I got pictures still to this day of myself drinking a Miller Light on the team plane coming back from those 2 exhibition games. That was awesome.
He's pulling the curtain back now, Jimmy. That was we always had the couple brewskis. You have your little box lunch before they'd serve you on your dinner on the plane. But that was I wonder when that went out. It must have been several years ago that went out.
It did.
But I was surprised you couldn't have anything on the plane coming and going. I could see coming back because hey, the game's over.
You don't say that to Tom Downing.
Yeah, I know.
Offensive coordinator for the Titans.
Hey, Rick Barry.
Hats off to our own Jackson, who played football at Montana. If you had an opportunity to watch ESPN's College Game Day from Montana, it was -4 degrees. And one thing I just don't understand, the temperature seemed to be the story, okay? And the crowd.
Bozeman, right? It was from Bozeman?
Yeah. Bozeman. And Reese Davis said it was the coldest college game day in history. I just...
3.
What?
Rivalry. Give him your headset.
Okay, here you go.
Because I need to talk to him.
Okay, here we
Sit
go.
this one out.
Jackson's on.
Hello, everybody. What's up?
All right. Just say hello to me because this is me. Is there anybody else from Montana that could be a guest picker other than Nick Faldo?
Oh, 100%.
That was a joke.
100%.
That was so bad.
They could have got Brett Musburger. He could have came in there. They could have got even Kevin Costner with the Yellowstone. That would have been kind of nice. But, yeah, Nick Faldo. I didn't know who that was.
Michael Keaton is from there. Dennis Quaid.
Yep.
David Letterman. Huey Lewis. I mean, I could go on and on. I'm watching it. And I had to go and Google. I'm like, give me some famous celebrities that live in Montana or are from Montana. Nick Faldo was horrible. Ruined it.
And even if you watched it, the guy in the clown outfit, the clown rodeo guy they had, they could have had him as the guest picker.
It would be better.
Way better than Nick Faldo. Yeah, I didn't know who that was. Poor job by College
You're
Game
okay?
Day.
You're okay with the outcome?
No, we got stop. 463 rushing yards, 7 yards a carry. We just got our.
I think they just scored again.
Yeah, I think they just scored again too.
Wow.
But hey, we are leading the series 73, 42, and 5. So
okay, good. Well, thanks for improving the program.
Hey,
We'll give headset back to Manuch. Yeah, I was like -4. It just looked brutal. It's just no fun. But anyway. Game day is awesome.
It gets so cold there when it snows, it ices. It's too cold to snow. I found this out by doing a game at Montana State. It's like icicles coming out. I'm like, what the hell? It was like 5 degrees. We did Montana State.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah,
because I know I've heard the story before.
Yeah.
So
called icing.
I know. Can you just tell me? I want to get it over with today since I'm off tomorrow and then the holiday.
Yeah.
How cold was it Friday night doing the game? The high school game.
It was about 40.
Well, bad. Good.
Yeah.
I figured that. You guys made it seem like it's going to be snowing at whatever game you called.
It got down to 42.
42.
Yeah.
It was -4 game day. They weren't complaining.
Look, Rock, we've been acclimated. We've been having 190.
You had in flannels on. And you made a big scene. You weren't there, Jimmy, but Friday made a big scene about how cold it's going to be doing the game tonight. I got to do the AIA playoff game.
Whoa. Jimmy's like, he's all bundled up. Don't go.
No, Jimmy, you were saying
you're moonwalking now.
Ski jacket. Did you have a ski jacket on?
We got you on tape.
You said you were going to bring a ski jacket.
He had a ski jacket on.
Yes,
he had a
30.
have a ski jacket.
He had a beanie on.
I did not. I've had a baseball.
Jimmy, please.
Do you have a turtleneck?
No, I didn't have a turtleneck.
No,
Jimmy did. He was bundled up.
Hour number 2's coming up. We'll look at some of the top NFL and college games.
You go to hell for lying, Jimmy. I'm telling you.
ABC 15's Craig Cooley as well.
10.
Rock and Manuch with Jimmy B.
You
out
big
here.
fibber.
CAZ Sports
Such a
Bar.
fibber.
Pulisic on the run.
You guys are hot.
Has Weah. Pulisic rolls it in. Tim Weah!
Very disappointing as Team USA ties Wales 1-1. Just finished up in the World Cup. As you just heard, the one goal they got in the first half. And then second half, Wales got one on a penalty kick. And now they get 1 point in the Group B. England beat Iran earlier this today, 6-2. They got 3 points for that win. So
that's why it's so important to get W's.
Yeah, it just sucks.
Yep.
That's just disappointing. I don't know. You just hope that you want to get to the 16, right?
Yes.
I mean that's the goal. Get to the 16. You make the World Cup relevant for us this year. I mean, there's no other reason to watch it. They're just not.
No.
Unless your country's in it.
Win and they will come watch it. That's the bottom line.
You would think so. Anyway, let's get into what we saw this weekend. By the way, we're out here at Casino, Arizona in the CAZ Sports Bar for tonight's Cardinals 49ers game. Starts at about 6:15. Doors are open. You can come on out and join us. The sports book. You put some bets in while you're here. You also can win some money, and it's free to play. All you got to do is when you come in, as we get going around about 5:30, 5:45, put your name in the hopper. You'll get some squares the first quarter and the third quarter, and all kinds of good games going on. We do squares, we do props, we do the kickoff challenge, which that jackpot is a progressive jackpot. Starts at just over $2,500. We add $25 to it after every kickoff, so it continues to grow. And you can win that if someone takes it back. And you're going to hear about someone taking it back right now in the Atlanta-Chicago game yesterday.
Here's Patterson. Fumbled the last time he touched it. Cordero Patterson has a seam. Patterson splits it. Goodbye! Cordero Patterson, the 9th time in his NFL career. A house call on a kick.
How about that? As Atlanta beats Chicago 27-24. That's courtesy of Fox. Patterson, 103-yard kickoff return. Him and Devin Hesser.
Yep.
So if they're playing on Monday night, watch out.
Oh, my goodness.
That's when you want to come down here and hopefully get a shot at winning that.
You're surprised he's going to take it out, but he must have seen something on film. 103 yards deep, takes it all the way to the house. That's one of those games you go, okay, you get the lead, you're Chicago. Hey, we got this game. Sure enough, takes that bad boy all the way to the house for the win.
By the way, in regards to what's going on in Chicago, Justin Fields injured. Got him getting checked out, MRI and all that stuff. So things aren't good there. But hopefully he'll be all right.
Here's a guy, and we talk about this. These quarterbacks that can run have the talent gift. Sooner or later, they get in harm's way. He gets out of bounds. He lands on that shoulder, and right now they're kind of waiting day to day. And you just got to be very, very careful not to take a guy's game away from him. But there's times I think Justin Fields runs too much. I really do, and they talk about Kyler Murray running more.
He's running for his life.
He does, but I think the one thing he could do a lot better job of is keeping his eyes up and looking to throw the ball down the field. I really do.
All right, I agree, and we could play the tape back a couple years ago, and we're talking about Kyler Murray, and he was running all the time, and everybody was saying, stop, we need him to not run so much because he's going to get hurt. Then this year, what have we been talking about? We want him to run more.
Well,
it's so hard to find that fine line.
Well, and what you're saying, I think
Patrick Mahomes.
Sure, yeah. Well, he's not running as much as he used to. But what you're finding is
got the best player in football.
Kyler Murray hurt again. Yeah, he hasn't completed he hasn't gone 1 year in his 4 years. He hasn't missed 2, 3, 4 games. Now this could be another 4 games. So when you draft these guys, they're extremely talented individuals. They can run, they can throw. You got big arms. You just have to go, okay, if we're gonna have this young man, pretty much kind of touch all the bases with us and make those things happen, you better have a damn good backup quarterback, which I think that's why they went out and got Colt McCoy. Here's a guy they can rely on because Kyler Murray hasn't survived an entire season yet because of his running.
Dallas Cowboys, this is a very disappointing game for Viking fans as their 7-game winning streak ended. Largest road win in Cowboys team history as they beat Minnesota 40-3. They got to Kirk Cousins 7 times. Here's Tony Pollard's 68-yard run, or pass, I should say, from Dak Prescott.
Put 55 inside with a matchup you like. I don't know. It's against Zach Martin. Good luck.
Going deep. Pollard has the catch. catch, and no one will touch him again. Touchdown, Dallas.
Linebacker got up
He
against
called
him.
it.
There's no way.
It was like when the linebacker was lined up on. You talked about some of these tight ends in some of these big games. You've got no chance. You know, Gronk in the Super Bowl. Seattle lined up on him a couple times. They have no chance whatsoever. So you got to get a safety or corner on top of those guys.
Courtesy of Fox. In D.C., the Commanders, they're talking playoffs now as they beat Houston 23-10. There's Kendall Fuller with his 37-yard interception TD return yesterday.
Slides up to the top portion of your screen.
Is that it, Ben?
No, the computer freezes.
Computer died.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. Baltimore and Carolina as the Ravens won 13-3. Lamar Jackson once again playing pretty well. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh as Cincinnati took care of business there 37-30.
I'm back.
As Burrow threw, here's him throwing a 6-yard touchdown pass as it made it 34-23. It was, I believe, a third touchdown, I think, in this game for him.
They have, on this drive, neutralized the defensive front.
B-run, right side, 5. Looking for the pylon. Did he get there? Touchdown.
Is that it?
That's it.
Was that the right one?
Yep, that was
Okay,
it.
my bad. CBS on that one. J.J. Watt's brother, T.J.
Yep.
Listen to this. If you got to see it, I mean, this isn't going to give it justice.
No, you're right.
But it was an incredible interception at the line of scrimmage, having a third quarter. But even the announcers played it up like this is one of the best catches in a long time.
Burrow.
Oh,
T.J. Watt, did he pick that? Oh, my goodness. What a job by T.J. Watt.
This is going to be one of the best interceptions, Greg, that you'll ever see.
That was great.
It was
He just stuck his paw out there just to knock it down, and it kind of like stuck to his hand, and he brought it back into him. But again, to no avail as the Steelers lose again to the
Have
Bengals.
to check him and see if he had stick-em on.
Raiders and the Broncos. As the Raiders took it 22-16. Things are better now for at least this week for the Las Vegas Raiders. As Carr threw, here he is connecting with Adams late in that game in overtime as they win 22-16.
Fake to Jacobs. Carr loads up. Adams is open. Walk-off touchdown. A sweep of the Broncos for Las Vegas.
Good to see. Good to see.
Wide
Devontae Adams and him and Derek Carr connecting.
As a matter of fact, they changed. Nathaniel Hackett was not the play caller.
Correct.
It was Gary Kubiak's son that was calling the plays for Denver. Didn't see much change whatsoever. That Denver offense is an absolute mess.
It's
a mess. I mean, they probably, with some of the talent they have, probably shouldn't have lost that game in Mile High. But, you know, Raiders find a way to make it happen.
And they cut Melvin Gordon today, the running back. Too many
I
fumbles.
cut him last week on my fantasy. I was hoping they were going to do it.
They did.
Eagles came back. Just an awful game. Just a bad.
A little nervous
football
there, Rock?
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I was pissed. I was like,
my
you can't
gosh.
lose to the Colts.
No.
And I loaded up on DraftKings all over the place, and I got my ass beat. But anyway, they win 17-16. Here's Jalen Hurts rushing in for the touchdown to put them ahead.
Hurts will run. Takes it in. Touchdown. Nothing in front of him except the end zone. And the Eagles are an extra point away from taking the lead.
CBS with the call. They go on to win 17-16, and probably the game of the night, which was at night. And it's the next opponent for the Cardinals after tonight's game. Kansas City Chargers 30-27. They've now won, that being the Chiefs, 25 consecutive games in the months of November and December. And arguably the best player in football, Travis Kelce, recorded his 33rd 100 game, setting a new record for tight ends. Here's Mahomes throwing the 17-yard pass to him. Third time in the game, 31 seconds left.
Kelce alone on the right. Coming across to the left. On the right, Kelce. Kelce, touchdown! The hat trick.
How good is Kelce?
He's phenomenal.
He is phenomenal.
When in doubt, just go to Kelce.
Talk about Tony Gonzalez reincarnated. You gotta think about that. The great tight ends that the Chiefs have had over the years, and you just know that this Chiefs team is never out of it. You give them 2 or 3 minutes, they're going to come back and get in the game. Hey, real quick, guys. Ron Rivera, they asked him yesterday about, Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
He's going to be the starter remaining, now 4-1 as the starter. They asked him about Carson Wentz, who's on the IR now, when it comes up, and he just said, Taylor Heineke's our starter. He's our guy. And I think the follow-up question is, well, what do you do with Carson Wentz? Well, we'll talk to him about his new role as the backup quarterback. And it was kind of insinuating if he likes that, fine. If he doesn't, he didn't say this, Ron Rivera, but he kind of insinuated, well, that's just the way it is, and if he has an issue with it, we cut him, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know what Wentz is going to be able to do. He's going to have to be that backup guy moving forward, since Sam Howell, who doesn't have any experience, so to speak, would be the backup.
If you would have told me that 3 weeks ago Washington would, have a winning record. Remember, they started 1-4.
Yep.
Okay, and are now in the hunt for a playoff spot, we all would have laughed at you. Absolutely thought you were absolutely lost your mind.
Well,
and here they are.
Or we would have thought the Giants were also tied for first place.
Yeah.
But after their loss this weekend, too, who
Bad
knows?
loss for them. Both teams in New York lost bad. Yeah, that Patriots-Jets game was just brutal. I didn't even put that in my rewind.
Thank you.
It was such a bad football game.
103 yards total yards for the Jets. I think Wilson had all of like 50 yards passing. He was like 9 for 27.
Terrible game.
Just a horrible game in New York.
Crazy games in college football on Saturday. 4 undefeated teams still at the top of the polls. Were all pushed, but survived to retain their rankings. But there is a new team in the top 5. We're going to talk some college football next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Casino, Arizona, right here on Fox Sports 910. Four undefeated teams, the top of the polls, are all pushed. There's a new team at number 5, and none of the teams had it easy, man. It was rough.
Yep.
I mean, you had one game that one with 9 seconds left, one with zeros on the clock. But let's start with TCU. They're down 28-20 to Baylor with under 7 minutes. Horned Frogs drive the ball 90 yards, draw within 2, but they missed the 2-point conversion. Then they get a stop on the ensuing possession, the Bears. TCU then marches 45 yards, sets up a game-winning field goal from 40 yards as time expired. You look at this TCU team this year, 7 of their 8 Big 12 wins and 8 of their 10 wins against FBS competition have come by 10 points or fewer. Mm-hmm. They've had comebacks against Baylor, Oklahoma State, Kansas State. Just crazy.
Well, they were down 28-10 with us, and they come back and shut us out. I mean, Kansas State, and win that. And the thing that was impressive about that, to drive down the field, and they're out of timeout. So they run it, and first of all, they run the ball.
Which I didn't understand.
Which was like, okay, and then they hustle those guys off. And
that was outstanding.
That was incredible.
Got to give the coaches a lot of credit.
Well, you practice that at least once or twice a week, just to make sure, with no timeouts, you got to work on it at some point. So once or twice a week, they ran it to perfection. And the guy that's usually the guy that gets the nerve, that you want to make sure you give him enough time, is the kicker. Holder kicker, the snapper. Okay, we're all good. You good? He just kind of ran out there and went, bang, kicked it, game, set, match at that point in time.
They were goody good. Illinois coughed up the Big Ten West lead with 2 losses in a row. They go into this game against Michigan at Michigan as underdogs. They take a 17-10 lead in the fourth quarter before their kicker, Jake Moody, who's an All-American, they will be again, 3 field goals in the final 15 minutes. The last had 9 seconds remaining. Michigan pushed to the limit for the first time this season. First time. And I don't think I've ever been so pissed off to watch.
Well, you're an Ohio State guy.
I understand it, but even then, you like to see the big dogs go down.
Well,
I mean, I know a lot. I was going to get to that.
Okay.
Maryland, same thing.
Yeah.
It's a fourth quarter fight in that one. I mean, I was pissed at Ohio State. Like, what are you doing? It's Maryland. But Maryland is having a really good year. I mean, I'm really surprised to see how well they're playing. And
they got a guy named Tagovailoa who's playing quarterback.
Yeah.
He's a younger brother.
And they were short 16 points in the fourth quarter alone, allowing to make that a very close game. In reference to watching Ohio State, we talked about being on their third string running back and how well they perform. But again, this is that time of year, last couple of games of the year, teams get tired, teams get beat up, they're dinged. You're looking to your depth to go ahead and make sure you can pull out these victories. They've made it for very interesting viewing on Saturday.
Absolutely. And then USC, they replaced Tennessee in the top 5 as the Trojans outlasted UCLA. They clinched the spot in the Pac-12 championship. And then for an unranked South Carolina to just blow out Tennessee. And I know Tennessee's quarterback is out now for the year.
Hooker.
Yeah, Hendon Hooker suffered a torn ACL in that left knee. That just sucks. I mean, you wonder next for the draft, because he's made a name for himself there, a Heisman Trophy hopeful. But it was a non-contact leg injury, which was weird.
Right.
And that was the fourth quarter. It's not like he got hurt in the first, and then South Carolina ended up coming back. I mean, they played horrible, 63-38.
He was coming down on what we call like the veer option. He's running the ball, and he's looking either pitches it or he takes up there. So he fakes the pitch, and he cuts on that left leg, and it just buckled on him.
Yep.
Really, I don't know if they got grass or turf there at South Carolina.
It's a grass field.
But he just basically buckles, and that happens to a lot of guys. But I got to say this, Spencer Rattler, former Pinnacle High School star, I think had his best game ever.
I don't think you have to say you think. He did.
He did. 6 touchdown passes. They scored the first 4 times they had the ball and pretty much just put the kibosh on Hooker in that offense for Tennessee. And I don't think Tennessee really knew what hit him. South Carolina, I imagine, is a tough place to play, obviously with the fandom going on. But Spencer Rattler was flawless in that game. And I think that's the Spencer Rattler so many of us saw in high school that I think the South Carolina Gamecock fans finally saw in that game this last week.
We didn't bring up Georgia, who barely got by Kentucky. Kentucky started the year off strong, 16-6.
They were due, though, to have a letdown game.
Yeah, just like Ohio State kind of got stressed out by Maryland. I mean, there's guys like that.
Right,
I mean,
and Michigan.
All the teams. Yeah. Everyone was making fun of Iowa this year. Oh, they got the worst offense.
It is.
I mean, which it is.
Do.
but their defense is number one.
Yeah.
And here they are. They're one way a win for Big Ten West crown after they beat Minnesota with a late field goal.
They play Nebraska. It's always on Friday.
Yep.
But this is an Iowa team that can't score. And whoever they play in the championship game, whether if it's Ohio State or Michigan, either one of those teams, they're going to be favored by 25
at least.
Yeah,
and that's sad for a Big Ten championship.
It is.
Notre Dame, they have losses this year to Stanford and Marshall, but they look good over the weekend as they shut out Boston College 44-0.
Yep.
And they have USC coming up here this weekend.
Now, that's a great game for USC to play before they play the champ, because Notre Dame is ranked. They beat a UCLA team that was ranked. So they are playing back-to-back teams that are ranked within the top 25. And if USC is successful against Notre Dame, that just keeps their stock at that number 5 spot, looking for an opportunity to slide in.
Here's the thing with that, too. Notre Dame, USC's defense is suspect at best.
It is, yes.
And you take on a Notre Dame team now at 8-3 that's really, the last 4 or 5 games, they've stopped some of those teams with those high potent offenses. If USC struggles with Notre Dame and they shut them down, Notre Dame's offense is starting to kick into gear too. So yeah, you're right, Jimmy. This is a pivotal game for them to win as far as keeping them in the hunt for the number 14.
You guys didn't believe me, but my underdog pick this week came in strong as Boise State, Wyoming.
Yep.
As Wyoming was getting 14 in that one, and Wyoming 20-17.
Yeah,
20-17.
My underdog pick was Arizona, and they sucked pond water against Washington State. I was so disappointed in the way they played. Terrible loss
for U of A.
Especially after what you had seen out of them. And in the game this past weekend, they didn't even look like the same team.
It's interesting how some of these teams, you can look at it like a Florida, okay?
Yeah.
They beat Utah the season opener. And they're up and down, hot streaks, losing streaks, and then for some reason they lose to Vanderbilt. Florida should never lose to Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
ever. Michigan State, another team that's struggling. A year ago, we're talking about Mel Tucker being one of the best coaches in the game, gets a big, lucrative contract extension, and here he is. They're not even going to a bowl game. They're 5-6. And they got Penn State still.
Well,
so they're not going to a bowl game.
And I think a couple things, guys, that we're seeing this year, and they bemoan the fact of the portal, a lot of the transfers that have helped even that playing field out. You would think that a Florida or this team would blow out certain teams, but you look at the opposing team and you look at key positions, quarterback, wide receiver, running back, where some of those guys have transferred in, whether from the portal or NIL, they somewhat level the field with games we used to think about years ago. They should blow them out. Well, they haven't because of the new transfers that have come in for those teams.
So as you look forward to Week 13, it's sad that it's almost over. We talked Notre Dame will play USC. That game is at 5:30 on Saturday in L.A. The Utah is at Colorado. That's also on Saturday at 2 o'clock. Ducks and Beavers, to get that game going, that's always fun. That's a 1:30 start at Oregon State. BYU, Stanford. BYU play. That's going to be a late one. That's going to be a 9 o'clock game. 9 o'clock for us. That's crazy if you tell me. And then Washington State. That's a good one. That's on Saturday night. And then of course the rivalry that is still a rivalry. Ohio is Arizona State and Arizona. That's a 1 o'clock start down in Tucson on Friday.
Because both teams stink. Has it lost some luster because of that? Is it too stingy?
Manuch, Jimmy, I'll tell you, and Manuch won't agree, but I've been doing this for 18 years with Manuch.
Right.
This to me has never been a big rivalry.
Unless they both.
My opinion.
Unless they're both really good,
but they never are.
Okay.
So they never
are
at
the same time.
So it's never been. You got to. No, I'm just sorry. I mean, I didn't go to either school, but an outsider sitting in talks about these two.
Right.
It's. I don't feel it. I don't see it. I never have, and I've been here 30 years, and I have season tickets for the Sun Devils. Okay, I mean, I like you sat in my seats.
I did.
Great seats, right?
They were great seats.
I mean, I want it to be a rivalry, and it is. I mean, at all intents and purposes, it is. But when one team's got 4 wins, the other team's got 3 wins, It just sucks.
And the last time there was any kind of rivalry per se was in those early to mid '80s when you.
Yeah, it wasn't here. Like I said, last 30 years, this rivalry has kind of gone to the crap.
And Rock, that's the point being is that they've never been up or down, and for that team, and you used to look at U of A
Pac-12 championship
to knock off U of A, to knock off ASU to make the Rose Bowl or vice versa. You used to have those years and years ago. You don't have that at all whatsoever now.
It sucks.
Yeah, it really is.
It really be cool because I know the fan base for both of them would love that. Like, hey, what are you doing Friday, man? We're going down to Tucson.
But
we're gonna root on our Sun Devils.
But I think U of A's trending that way to start becoming better. I think U of A's
got a quarterback.
They do, and they're gonna have to. ASU's gonna have to reload their entire program for this to become that.
Okay,
that
so
rivalry you're
let's
looking
talk
for.
in 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, maybe.
Grab Deion Sanders. Imagine if Deion takes the Colorado job. I think that's a long shot. I think South Florida makes more sense.
That's a lot better
for him.
Yeah, that would be better for him. Colorado's got a long way to go. That place, talk about decimated. Colorado, as far as getting athletes in there, yeah, you'll have a chance to play, but it may talk about 5 or 6 years to get that back on track. I don't care who the head coach is. That might be a good spot for Brian, your buddy Harsin, to go to Colorado if he doesn't come to ASU.
You know, that's actually a good call considering the fact that, he's a Boise State, he's recruiting there. But I think for Sanders, who's, a Florida guy, he went to Florida State.
South Florida makes sense.
It makes sense. Anyway, coming up, Craig Fouey, ABC 15 for Fact or Fouey. Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
or phooey with ABC 15 sports director Craig Phooey. Phooey joins the guys each Monday to break down the top stories of the weekend. And as a reminder, Manuch writes the questions. Now here's ABC 15's Craig Phooey.
Who are you, Mexico?
Excuse me. Hold on, guys. Just a second. 2 more tacos, please. 2 more tacos. 1 enchilada.
Not a Del Taco.
Yeah. Don't you be bringing anybody back in your ABC 15 van.
I only have one package in the back. Here's one. I don't know what's in it.
How we doing, buddy? What's going on?
Hey, we're getting geared up. Just watched USA and Wales, and it come to a 1-1 tie, a draw.
Disappointing.
And we're getting ready. Yeah, just very disappointing.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
It really is. You
Not,
got the first goal, and you're like, oh, man, if they can just hold on, that'd be a nice way to start the World Cup. But, oh, well, we'll see what happens next.
The best thing coming out of Wales was Tom Jones. Foy remembers that era. That Tom
I
Jones
do remember
hour.
Tom Jones.
Yeah.
Why, Delilah?
No, it's not unusual, right, Coach?
It's not. No.
Oh, jeez. All right, let's get to it. It's Factor Phooey with ABC 15 sports director Craig Phooey. All right, first question, of course, has to do with tonight's game. It's a blessing in disguise for Colt McCoy to be starting in tonight's game against the 49ers. Fact or Phooey? Blessing in disguise.
Yes, that's why Vegas has the Niners as 10-point favorites.
Yeah.
It's a blessing in disguise for them. Yeah, they've got the matchup predictor on ESPN has an 82.7% chance of the 49ers winning. So I don't know what a blessing in disguise that is for who, but listen, we've talked Colt McCoy for a week now, right? There's nobody more popular than the backup quarterback on a football team, right? Everybody wants him in. Yeah. I was telling the guys Saturday, I remember back in the old days when the Cardinals played at Sun Devil Stadium, and the entire crowd, 19,000, cheering for Stoney Case.
Yeah.
Stoney Case, the third string quarterback. Yeah, Stoney. It's like, really? Come on, people, stop.
So you were at Buffalo and they were chanting for my name?
No.
They couldn't pronounce your name.
I've been in Buffalo a few times.
But everyone loves Manuch, so everybody loves the backup.
Right, the backup.
Right? Yeah, Manuch is the most likable guy in the business.
Never had a chance to prove him wrong one way or the other, Coach.
Hey, I'll tell you what, a couple of times I was in Buffalo, I did go to the local Denny's and I saw a parking spot reserved for Dan Manucci.
Wow.
It was out front, yeah.
Was that at Mother's
Worry?
Was it?
No,
Was that Mulligan's Brick Bar or Mother's Worry? Or all right, Coach. Question number 2: the Cardinals must commit to the run game if they have any chance at beating the 49ers. Fact and or Phooey?
I'm hesitating because I think you've asked me this question about 100 times over the last 10 years.
James Conner, man, here we go.
Commit to the run game. Listen, what is commitment to the run game? Here's my old philosophy when I was coaching. Take what they give you, right? Who cares if you commit to anything? Take what they give you. If they're backing up and they're rushing the passer, then run the ball, right? Let's find some running lanes and run the ball. If they're going to come down and put 7, 8 in the box, then don't try to run the ball. I mean, it's kind of a cat and mouse game to me, and I don't know that you commit to one thing is going to win the football game for you. So that's just my philosophy. Listen, I'm not the old Green Bay Packers. We're running the Green Bay sweep come hell or high water, right? We get an alleyway here, a seal here, and a seal there, and an alleyway there, and we're running it off tackle. That's not me. I'm just kind of that. I guess I'm more aligned with the Mike Leaches and the Cliff Kingsburys of the world, where you're just going to take what they give you.
And I think the only reason why, Coach, I plugged in there, and you look at last year's 31-17 win over the 49ers. I know a little different team. This 4-3 front really staunch, but James Conner had that big game, and Colt McCoy had a good game as well, too. The perimeter running, not so much interior running, is what I'm probably kind of hedging at here.
No, I know. And listen, that game gave James Conner a nice extension here with the Cardinals. So, despite injuries and despite where he's been, it's like that was a nice game for him and it got him a contract. So I don't question that, but I think you have to find out, and that's why you script plays, right? You have to find out what this defense is going to do against you. They know that you went to the quick passing game last week against the Rams, so they're aware of that. They saw that film. So now how do they counter that? So you've got to it's a cat and mouse game, and I don't know that you come in committing to anything other than taking what they give you.
All right, Coach, here we go with Hollywood Brown. Remember, Manuch writes these questions. With Hollywood Brown not playing.
Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate that.
Rondell Moore will have to be the big play guy on offense for the Cardinals passing game. Is that fact or Phooey?
We're doomed. We're doomed.
Yep.
Listen, I don't know if it's Rondale Moore. I think we still have a guy named DeAndre Hopkins. Don't we still have a number 10 out there? I still think he's the star on offense. And what's the deal with him saying he slightly pulled his hamstring now? What's the deal with D Hop getting pulled hamstrings lately? Is he not stretching before games?
Is he playing games with that cornerback on the other side, maybe?
Jeez.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But no, listen, if Rondale Moore and DeAndre Hopkins could have games like they did last week against the Rams, with Jalen Ramsey, by the way, at defensive back, at cornerback for the Rams, I'll take it. I don't care who has the big game. Hell, how about Trey McBride? Give it to Trey McBride. Let Max Williams throw to Max.
Yeah, Max
He's back.
got elevated off the practice
Unsung
floor.
hero. You never know, Coach.
All right, Cardinals defense must focus on preventing big plays from Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel if they have any chance at winning tonight. Fact or fiction?
And Brandon Ayuk. I mean, you've got Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk. I mean, they got a bunch of weapons
George
there.
Kittle, the tight end.
Yeah, George Kittle. I think you've got to get Isaiah Simmons on Kittle, and hopefully he can try to cover him, right? You got to take him out of the game because we all know the history with the Cardinals and tight ends, right? They just can't cover them.
Yeah.
But then you've got Christian McCaffrey, you got Deebo, I mean, you have to take something away, and I guess if I'm the Cardinals in Vance Joseph, I might try to start with George Kittle.
Okay.
All right, Sun Devil interim head coach Sean Aguano must beat the U of A on Friday if he has any chance of remaining the head coach at ASU. Fact and or Philly. Any chance?
I was over at Sean's presser just a couple hours ago, and funny you should mention that because I asked him the question, and I think one of the last questions of the day was just about, have you thought much past this week? Have you heard anything? Have you had conversations? And he said, look, I'm not looking past Friday. This is our last game. It may be my last game. I haven't had those conversations yet. Whether or not you beat Arizona, which I think is a tall task for this ASU team this year, because I think the Wildcats are the better team coming into this game. But whether or not he beats them, I think people are looking at the body of work of what Sean's done in his 9 games since he took over. And so I think that'll be a bigger play than if he wins and beats Arizona.
Coach, we had a discussion before you came on the show about 10 minutes ago about the Territorial Cup, the rivalry. And it just doesn't seem like there's any buzz about this game. How do you
juice,
Jimmy? Juice at all? How do you describe what has happened here with these teams?
Well, when you have 2-6 teams in Pac-12 play, a 3-8 team in Arizona State and a 4-7 team in Arizona, it kind of takes. I mean, they're not playing for anything, right? There's no bowl game on the line. There's no Pac-12 championship on the line. There's no Pac-12 South title. There's nothing on the line other than bragging rights. And Arizona's going to stand up and say, we have a better basketball team. So, it's like, I mean, what is the, I mean, we're going down as a TV station. We're going to be calling it. I'll be down there. But where's the buzz for this game when you've got, I guess we want to go down and watch Jaden DeLora play.
Sure.
But I think you hit the nail on the head. There's no real buzz for the Territorial Cup when you've got 2 really bad teams.
Do you need to bring a Coach Prime into Arizona State?
Deion Sanders, baby.
Either Colorado or South Florida or Arizona State University, Coach. Where you at?
Luke Fickell. he's trending. He's trending on social media today.
I would love Luke Fickell, man. His days at Ohio State. I mean, geez.
What he's done at Cincinnati has been sensational.
Yeah.
You're seeing Dillingham.
The jury's out on Jason Day. I just don't know yet about. He's not. Although they never have real dynamic coaches at Ohio State, do they? I mean, I'm thinking about Jim Tressel. I still don't know about Ryan Day yet in terms of what he's like. I haven't been around him.
Sure, it's not Jason Day, the golfer. I mean, Jason Day.
Yeah, Ryan Day. Ryan Day.
No, you did a Manuch, but we understood.
It happens. Hey, Coach,
what day of the week? What day of the week is it?
It ends in Y. You're good.
That's right. I'm good. Yeah, Ryan Day.
So what are you working on tonight? Were they going to give you a little bit more time, or will you guys have any type of show, post game show, or anything? No. All right. Sorry.
No. No.
supposed to
The other
rain.
guys
Yeah.
bought the show. The other guys bought the show.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
The other guys in town bought it. So
Yeah.
Why are you poking
Yeah.
him like that, Rock? I mean,
Not
you know,
poking him.
I
I'm
mean,
just
you're
trying
poking the bear there, man.
No, really, listen, Rock, we go way back. He knows the situation in television. Rock
Yep.
was a TV guy. He
Yeah,
knows.
I was a 3 for a
He knows what
long
this is like.
time. I get it. Yeah. Anyway,
He knows what this is like. It's sports, and that's gotten worse over the years now.
And if there's a chance of rain, the 2 minute
gosh.
sportscast goes
That
to a
is-
minute 30.
That is so funny. The weather a
Two.
thon every. It's like, okay, we get it. It's gonna be sunshine.
Hey, I had a conversation with Al McCoy years ago, and he told me when they told me I was being cut from 10 minutes to 6, I walked out the door. I was done with local TV.
10 minutes
6 minutes.
6. Wow.
You kidding me? You kidding me?
We love you, Philly. Hey, by the way, tell your lovely bride and the rest of your family happy Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving,
from Roc
Coach.
and Manuch
Will do.
and Jimmy B. All right, buddy?
You as well.
All
See
right.
ya.
That's Craig
There
Philly,
you go.
ABC 15, joining us. Hey, you can win $15,000 by making a gingerbread house out of Pop-Tarts. I'm going to tell you how you can do that. And an interesting reaction by the President of the United States when he called the U.S. men's soccer team yesterday. We're going to play that. We're live at the CAZ Sports Bar for tonight's Cardinals 49ers game. The random fact of the day is coming up as well. This is Fox Sports 910.
What's going to happen?
Record for most hits is 4,256 by Pete Rose, who is not in the Hall of Fame.
Do you know that my next
You guys are out.
V Rabbit.
Now time for Fox Sports 910's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B to give you the random facts of the day driven by your Valley Chevy dealers. Find new roads at your Chevy dealer or a dealer near you. Head to valleychevy.com.
Kellogg's wants people to make gingerbread houses.
What?
Out of Pop-Tarts this year.
Come on.
Love Pop-Tarts.
And whoever makes the best one is going to win $15,000. Pretty cool how they announced it. They announced it on Zillow, like a fake listing.
Oh, really? That's kind of fun.
It was a four-bed, two-bath home,
Yep.
fully furnished, all made with Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
How cool is that? So you could go on Instagram, Twitter, #gingerbread Pop-Tart entry. And you can also draw your design, which sounds easier if you got those kind of skills, but it's got to be in by December 16th. I thought this was kind of interesting. Sad, too, if you haven't heard. The World Cup men's going on right now in Qatar. 1-1 tie today, a draw between USA and Wales. It opened up with Qatar losing to Ecuador 2-0.
Yep.
The opening match. And Qatar became the first host country to lose its opening game of competition, which began in 1930.
Wow.
It was embarrassing from all the reports. 67,000 fans were in the stadium at the half, empty. The entire half of the place was empty.
Oh, man.
Just a
That's
bad
a statement.
scene.
That's a statement right there, fellas.
Well, then you're hearing all kinds
no
of
beer.
Yeah,
That's
well,
right.
that's part of it. But, they're hearing about they had a group of like 200 laborers that were hired to work concession stalls there at the World Cup. The opening game were left without food, water, toilet facilities for 7 hours.
Wow.
As they were waiting for their assignments. They couldn't contact anybody. And then today the app goes down for tickets. So tickets for the USA, Wales, people couldn't get tickets or other games that they had problems with. Total chaos is going on here in, or not here, but there in the World Cup at Qatar or Qatar, or any way you want to call it. But FIFA has earned record revenues of $7.5 billion in the 4 years of commercial deals that led up to the World Cup. It's $1 billion more than they did in the 2018 World Cup. That's just nuts.
They are the biggest scoundrels on the planet, and they continue to get away with it year after year after year.
But, Jimmy, everybody's there. What are they going to do now?
I know.
All the promises, you know, but not selling beer sales at the stadium,
Right.
the deal with Budweiser. Now you're seeing all these misgivings that are going on with the app and the concession workers.
But it
Just a
need
mess.
it didn't need to be in the Middle East.
No, it did not. No, again, they got bought. Basically,
They still would have made
$7
$8 billion, whatever. They still would have made it because now they're saying in 4 years the next one's they'll probably do $10 billion.
Well, Qatar delivered the money, but they didn't deliver the goods. They basically said, "Here's the cash," and FIFA didn't care. FIFA's got their cash. Yeah, whatever. If you can show up, whether you have toilet facilities that work or concessions, no beer, they don't care. I mean, they're an absolute mess. Jim, you followed it for years.
I have.
Is the MSL or MLS?
MLS.
But it's a shame that this is the story. Aside from the teams that are there, that again, everybody's looking at FIFA, going, they basically hoodwinked their own soccer players to be there for the money. And devil may care. Anything else after that is a bonus.
Those guys pocket so much money under the table. It's unfathomable how much they make. They are some of the richest people on the planet just because of how they undermine everything and collect money into their own account.
And the one thing that Qatar did sell them on several years ago was that they could do the facilities, they could make the facilities, they had the money to develop the facilities, other than some of the other countries didn't have the money. Remember that several years ago, they're like, well, this country's broke, and we got more than enough cash to build these facilities and have all these facilities to be able to bring you in for a World Cup situation.
I'm anxious to talk to Rick Horo next week. He's there and says it's amazing. So we'll get firsthand look from him next week when he joins us. President Biden called the men's team yesterday, talked to the entire team. Of course, he's not traveling there. I don't blame him.
I don't blame him.
Secretary of State, I believe, is there.
Yeah.
But here's the call, and listen carefully how excited our guys are to get a call from the President of the United States.
Here we go, guys.
Sorry, guys, it's not working well.
Showtime, guys. You ready? It says POTUS. That's where it's coming from.
Sir, you have the U.S. men's national soccer team.
Coach, put me in. I'm ready to play.
Hit the left button.
You guys, I know you're the underdog, but tell you what, man, you got some of the best players in the world on your team, and you're representing this country, and I know you're going to play your hearts out. So let's go shock them all. Keep trusting in one another. Play as hard as you can, and for you and your families, your teammates, and the whole country's rooting for you.
That's a very nice message, Mr. President. The whole team is here right now. We really appreciate your support, and we're ready to go. Guys, you want to say hi? You get any of that?
I just think it's the funniest thing. I'm sorry, it's like the 10th time I've heard it.
Well, I don't get it, Rocky. There's
no juice to this team.
They're all going hi, Mr. President.
Yeah. They weren't excited.
They're all sitting back, hanging out. What do you want them to say?
Yeah, the President of the United States just called.
Stand up, give them a standing.
Well, obviously they played to a draw today.
They did.
So they obviously aren't excited enough to be there.
They were lucky to get the call from POTUS at that particular point in time. You imagine
And this isn't a political knock on Biden or if it was Trump. It's just the level of the reaction of this team. There are a lot of people in that room.
Yep.
I just when I first saw it, I clicked
hi.
on it.
They said
I
hi.
thought, hey, what's up, Mr. President? We're ready to go. We're representing the country.
They were focused, man. They were down the down low. They were focused.
Guys, you want to say hi?
Yeah, 1-1. Yeah,
Could you imagine on your phone something does says POTUS on your phone and yourself is POTUS?
I'd be like, who's playing a prank on me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the POTUS is calling. Stand by, gentlemen. The President of the United States would like to talk to you. And then afterwards, how about that? The President of the United States, they all cheered and thought that was pretty cool. At the time, they're, hey, Mr. President, like have conversation. They want to drown him out, Rock. They want to do that. But that is cool to have a president call you before a game.
I wish
any
he'd
game.
call this show.
Oh man, we'd have him on the whole time.
Whenever the president, doesn't matter who it is.
I agree with this.
Obama, doesn't matter.
Yep.
We're always talking about on the air, like if we know the president's in town to give a speech, we're always trying to get him to come on.
Absolutely. Trying to track him down. We know they're listening to Roc and Manuch.
I was close with President Trump. I had an opportunity to meet him.
Did you try to get his digits?
Ago. Yeah,
so we could call him.
If you ever talk some golf, you want to, I'll get you on a Gainey. I mean, come on, I would love to play around the golf. I don't care who the president is. That'd be great.
Digits? Let's talk a little bit about that. Whether we
maybe from Jimmy Carter or anybody, I'd play. That'd be great.
Jimmy's dang near 100 years old, man. He's still building houses.
Still building houses in Georgia.
Is he really?
Yes, he is.
Still doing his
Still pounding nails and sawing whatever. Oh yeah, he and the missus are
one thing I always remember about him, because I was maybe 8, maybe young. I was young.
Yeah,
I think it was 1975. He was the guy that said, "All right, the Atlantic City Expressway is going to go up to 70 miles an hour." Yeah, it was 55 everywhere
at the time.
Yes, but Atlantic City Expressway, it's a paid road. Most roads in Jersey are.
Yeah.
The Atlantic City Expressway was
70 miles an hour.
70 miles. That was like the biggest thing. It's like it's the Autobahn, version here from Germany in South Jersey to get to the shore.
I remember that 55 miles an hour where they used to bust you with airplanes if you were out in the middle of.
I got nailed on the Pennsylvania Turnpike by.
You got nailed by.
Pennsylvania. Wow. Yeah. They get you for the mile marker.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to figure it out. They literally pulled us down. It was a summer break. We were driving, me and 2 other guys, fraternity brothers. We were driving to Jersey from Ohio U, and we were on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and literally we got pulled over. We had no idea what we did wrong. We had a radar detector, and we were driving like a red, like small hatchback or something back then, and literally cop got us in the air. I think you got us going like hilarious. 80 and a 60 or whatever it would have been.
Used to peek if you just happened to see him, you were lucky. You kind of slowed.
Oh, you always look because there's signs that say they're getting you from the sky.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it says patrolled by air.
It's great.
Yeah.
Hey, random facts are brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealer. Your Valley Chevy dealer, serving the Valley for over 80 years. Yes, 80 years. Head to valleychevy.com. They got some really cool cars right now. Check it out. Go to valleychevy.com. Again, don't forget, typically this Thursdays we're off. We're going to be typically at a Twin Peaks, but it's Thanksgiving and they're closed. But
30.
we are at one of the 4 Valley locations every Thursday for Thursday Night Football, thanks to Blue Moon and Coors Light. You can still text Peaks to 55678 for that grill that we're giving away, that custom grill. It's pretty cool. That's Peaks to 55678. Going into hour number 3, former Sun Devil Rudy Carpenter will get his
10.
thoughts on the rivalry with Arizona. And former Cardinals cheerleader, I wanted to say, because he is, because he's an ambassador. Frank Sanders next.
and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Roc. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And always online at lernerandrow.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
Pulisic on the run. Pulisic has way up. Pulisic rolls it in. Tim
Fox play-by-play man John Strong with the call as U.S. scored first as they played Wales today to a 1-1 draw in the FIFA World Cup in Qatar before a crowd of about 43,000 and some change. And it sounds as though sparse attendance has become an emerging issue at the World Cup as fans having trouble just getting access to the venues. And not good. No. Not good when they're having trouble. And a lot of fans missed some matches today. Games like England as they won over Iran 6-2. Fans said their tickets disappeared from the phone apps. just disappeared.
So
Vanished.
Magic.
Although some of the fans had their ticket purchase verified with email checks, and it didn't fly. I'm a little concerned because I'm trying to get tickets right now to go to the Ryder Cup in Rome in September. And I'm like nervous about, you got to buy the tickets in euros and all that. And the euro is like $1 to $1.02 to the US. But I just, everything is digital. Whatever happened to the hard ticket? Like we all collect. I mean, I think most of us, you probably still, I don't know.
Sure,
you guys
have one or two.
I mean, I have, my Grateful Dead front row ticket. I mean, I have these tickets that I've saved, Super Bowl tickets. And, it just sucks that's kind of gone away.
Yep.
There's something to that, to have a collection of either credentials or whatever, but tickets. And here they're having trouble where there were lines of 500-600 people where people couldn't get in, or they were getting late. And then you find out that there were a bunch of Iran fans that got barred from the game today because they had flags. Yes. They were sneaking in flags, and they're not allowing flags because it's, it's a symbol of protest, I guess, or what's going on in there. But it just sucks that all the problems they're having there. I mean, it's just, I think they're, people wearing rainbow shirts are being told to take them off, even though that shouldn't be a problem. But their security guards were not even letting them in. People were detained.
Yep.
There was one reporter, a soccer reporter, that went in wearing the T-shirt to support the LGBTQ community and said, quote, the security guards refused to let me in, detained me for 25 minutes, and they angrily demanded that I remove my shirt. I mean, wow.
Well, on top of that, you had the sports media group last week. The police came up and escorted them off of property. They were just shooting the story.
Yes.
And they shot them by we have every opportunity to shoot here, and they escorted them off the property.
FIFA ended up rejecting the Belgium soccer team's away jersey because the word love was on the collar of the shirt.
Wow. When I know that the U.S. soccer team, they were also looking at maybe having some LGBT rainbow stuff on their sleeve.
It was an armband.
It was an armband or whatever, that type of thing. So it's just that place is it's a mess. That's you got to adhere to their rules, but obviously
the rules, safety of our boys.
Well, safety, but here obviously the FIFA didn't communicate a lot of the rules, and I think once you got there, they make up their own rules. They're going to make up their rules as they go.
Pretty much.
That's it. It's kind of buyer beware. FIFA got their cash. They got bought out. They said, here's the deal. There's so many things. And guys, this is just the beginning. Trust me, this is the beginning. There'll be a lot more stuff that's going to go on. And as far as the apps are concerned, I don't think it's by accident. I really don't. I think that sometimes when you get a government like that involved to create that kind of chaos, so to speak, is part of their way of, okay, we've paid out. We're going to control this our way. Well, unless FIFA steps in and demands something, they're going to say, hey, look, sorry, you're on our country. We're going to do it our way, and that's the way it's going to be from here on out.
FIFA got billions and billions of dollars, and they pocketed it, and now just wash their hands. That's the way they work. As I said on this show, they are nothing but scoundrels, and they are all filthy rich with all of the under-the-table money.
But remember when they got the rewarded the World Cup? We all went, Qatar.
Yeah.
Qatar. I'm sorry, Qatar. You sit there and go, okay, that's kind of a they're the kind of a very brutal
They are
country.
Their human rights. Their
human rights.
Terrible.
I mean, okay, are they going to be able to adhere for 3, 4, 5 weeks to so much the I would say the capitalistic way of the way we do things? But they get over there, they made their money, and they forked out the money. They're going to control it. So I don't know.
Let's change the subject and talk about stuff that really matters.
Yes,
like the report today from TMZ that Devin Booker and Kendall Jenner
have
reportedly decided to call it quits.
This is huge.
I mean,
news.
this is the news of the day. A supermodel and a superstar.
Say it ain't so, Rock. Say it ain't so.
Rumor has it that they split up, citing their hectic work schedules.
I think it's the best thing that ever could have happened for Devin Booker.
You see some of the tweets. No more Kardashian curse.
That's it.
Son's going back to the finals.
Yes.
This explains why he's good again.
Yep.
Booker MVP.
I can tell you this: he's scoring.
I like that one.
He's scoring.
He's got all that weight off his shoulders.
Yeah. So anyway, Suns yesterday, 5 players in double digits in scoring as they went on to beat the Knicks. They got the Lakers this week as well. They got a 4-game homestand as the team's 8-1 at home. But 10-6 on the season.
Right.
So they love playing a footprint.
That's
okay.
okay.
They love it. That's fine.
You take care of your own house, you're going to be in the playoffs.
Absolutely. By the way, I know I'm jumping around a little bit today, but I didn't get to this earlier today. Our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day. What area will the Cardinals have to rely on the most with Colt McCoy starting at quarterback tonight? Passing game or running game? Those are your 2 choices. Go to our Twitter page at Roc and Manuch. And always, for a free quote, need some repair, go to state48roofing.com or follow them on social media by searching #SexyRoofStatus.
Here's my point on that. What if neither one work?
You're in trouble.
Because of that,
you got nowhere to go.
Because of that 49ers defense. Their front 7 is excellent, Manuch. You know that.
Yeah, they are. And that's probably one of the best front 7 in the National Football League. And, they're going to have to run the ball. I really feel, guys, they have to run the ball. And again, you look at James Conner last year, that's where he pretty much made it for himself, put himself on the map coming here from Pittsburgh.
Yep.
You got to get on the perimeter because it's so difficult to run up the middle against these guys, much like last week. But that was a 34 front last week. So they rely more on their front, the front 4, and their linebackers that pretty much make things happen. I also think, look, like last week, in order to keep the pressure off of Colt McCoy, you've only got one starting lineman, that being Beacham at right tackle.
Right.
Garcia may play at left guard, maybe. We don't know yet. He's going to be questionable game time decision. Again, you got to get the quick passing game. Got to get it out, get it outside, get that pressure off of Colt McCoy. If you do, which I think, they got to take some shots, guys. I call them 50-50 balls. Just go max protect. Keep Williams and McBride in. Send 3 guys out. Keep your backs in. Give him a chance for him to throw the ball down the field. Hell, you got D-Hop. You got A.J. Green. You got Rondell Moore, Robbie Anderson. Guys with some height.
I don't think it's going to be the issue of him being able to manage the game.
I don't either.
I think he's going to do fine there. But for them to get by this team that's very healthy right now, is they need a couple big turnovers. The Cardinals do to have a shot here. And of course they need to stop McCaffrey or Debo or what have you. Or they probably need a couple pick 6.
Yeah.
Well,
the defense is going to have to win this one.
And Jimmy is prone. That being Jimmy G prone to get pressure in his face and throw that ball up. We've seen it in some big games, some big situations. But he's also done a pretty damn good job of getting behind and coming back and winning against this Cardinals team. But they're 50-50 with Jimmy B at the quarterback for San Francisco.
They're not 50-50.
3.
He's 37-16 as a starter.
I'm talking with the Cardinals.
Better.
With the Cardinals. Yeah, with the Cardinals, he's pretty much he's even with that. But I think that's going to be key. You got to bloody his nose. You got to get in his face.
3-2 all time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me run this by you because we saw this, and I think Manuch referenced earlier in the show Isaiah Simmons on George Kittle.
Good luck.
All right. Well, that's where I'm going.
Good luck.
That's where I'm going because you think of George Kittle, he is similar to Travis Kelce. And when we saw Simmons trying to play against Kelce in game 1 when the Chiefs were here, he was 6 yards behind him on almost every pass play.
And it's going to be a huge assignment for him because
it is.
You got Ayuk, you got Debo, you got CMC
McCaffrey,
coming out of the backfield. You've got a plethora of receivers that are coming out of the backfield. You can't afford to double up over the top of the safety. You can have Simmons and maybe a strong safety kind of bracket him, especially in the situation. If it's 3rd and short or they're inside the red zone, I might hedge my bet to double cover Kittle. He's kind of the guy.
Yep.
But Ayuk has come up big in that area. And where's Christian McCaffrey big? Inside the red zone.
Yes.
2.
So you know if he's going to come out, he's going to catch it. But then there's Debo. Debo at any particular time, he's strong, jet sweeps. But, Rock, I think this defense is going to have to put that pressure on Jimmy G to make things happen.
What do you think Jimmy G's average yards against the Cardinals in the last he's played him 5 times. One time as a Patriot as he started. What do you think his average yards against the Cardinals is?
Total yards?
Passing yards?
Average yards total, yeah.
I'll say 225-ish.
Okay, good.
There.
Jimmy?
I'm going to go 235.
318.
Woo! Wow.
That's a big number.
That is a big number.
He threw last year in the loss. He threw 326.
Wow.
259 before that.
Okay.
424.
Wow.
And 317. And then when he was with the Patriots, 264. So percentage just to about 71%.
Yeah.
So
he's accurate.
He's won 3 out of 10.
And now he's got a running game.
I was just going to say.
But last year in that loss, he got sacked 5 times.
Yes.
So that's a good.
Key. Yes.
That's the key right there.
Yeah.
They get to him.
And that's the one thing. You didn't get out and get in his grill and force him to make that bad throw. And if the other thing too, you just cannot give up big plays to the Ayuks, the Samuels, and CMCs. Keep him in front of him. I think if you play cover 2 safeties deep, he can dink and dunk all you want. Have him earn it. But you start giving up big plays to this team,
30.
It's going to be over early.
J.J. Watt then has to have a big game. He's got to be.
There's a few guys that need to step up.
He's got to be in that offensive backfield a lot tonight in order for Arizona to have a chance to win.
Byron Murphy Jr. out still as well.
Yep. What's his name? Oh, yeah, Frank Sanders. He's going to join us in about 15 minutes. But up next, Rudy Carpenter, get his take on this game, what Colt McCoy needs to do. Plus, we'll go down memory lane as he was 3-1 against Arizona. Of course, Arizona State, the big rivalry game on Friday. As we'll discuss that with him next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from the CAZ Sports Bar. As tonight, we're getting you ready for the Cardinals and the 49ers. Our jackpot is over $2,500. $2,500. We encourage you to come down as you can win money squares, the kickoff jackpot for the $2,500 and propositions. So lots of ways to win money. And we're bringing back Throw for Dough. We didn't do it last week, and people flipped. Absolutely flipped. Why aren't you doing that? They didn't bring us the bags. We have them this week, so we'll get that done. It's next. Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
who, by the way, went 3-1 against that team in Tucson.
Carpenter going to go up with time, steps up, looks end zone, got it in, McGahee, touchdown!
Rudy Carpenter threw that right into the deep, into the strength of the Wildcat defense.
Rudy Carpenter, now on Roc and Manuch on Fox Sports 910 on FM at 99.9 HD2.
For those of you keeping track, Team USA, the World Cup up 1-0 over Wales. It's in the second half of that one, so we'll keep you up to speed on that. But Rudy Carpenter joins us now, right to it again. It's on here on Fox Sports 910. How you making out today, Rudy?
Oh, I'm living the dream. How are you guys?
Oh, ditto. Living the dream as well. We just found out today that Manuch plays the guitar. We did not know that. So that was some big news. That was our breaking news today. We were trying to go down. We wanted to talk about Kyler Murray. It looks as though he's not going to play until after the bye week now, Rudy. That is the report. What is your thoughts on Colt McCoy, holding this fort up and winning some more games?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's always difficult to play well and to win with a backup quarterback. I mean, it doesn't really matter who your backup is. It's always difficult to do. It really is. But Colt does possess a lot of really good skills and a lot of skills that translate well to this offense. He's accurate. He makes good decisions. He has good anticipation. He can throw guys open. He makes quick decisions, right? And to me, that's, kind of the things that this offense is predicated on. And so and plus Colt is a smart guy who understands situational football, everything else. And so I think just like last year, he'll be able to come in and I think, hold the fort down and be able to maybe win a game or two. But whether or not, they go undefeated or whatever, I don't see that happening. And whether or not there's going to be a quarterback controversy, I don't see that happening either, because at the end of the day, Kyler Murray is their quarterback and he's their franchise guy that they paid, and they're not going to go to somebody else just because, you had a good stretch of games as a starter.
Do you think the hamstring is more than just a hamstring if it's going to be 4 weeks?
I mean, just from my experience, I hate speculating on injuries because you just never know. I honestly have no idea. So I really don't know. What I imagine though is that this organization, everybody involved, from ownership to general manager to head coach to everybody, that they're trying to make the best decision for the football team and the best decision for the organization. And so this is obviously what they felt that decision was.
Rudy, with this stout front seven of San Francisco, and you watch what Colt can do, and the running game, they're very tough. What do you think will be the best game plan with Colt McCoy to take on this very stout San Francisco 49ers team?
Yeah, this team is good. And like I said, that's where it's very important to be able to make quick decisions, get the ball out of your hands, use your quick game as your run game, essentially. Hopefully can be efficient in the run game. When they get chances, Colt's going to have to take chances down the football field and hopefully create some big explosive plays. This defense is very good. I still think the Cardinals can compete in this game and win with Colt, because I'm just not a believer in what the offense can do right now.
And then watching that offense, the Cardinals defense, receiver wide, looks like Hollywood Brown will not play in this game. So is Rondell Moore the big hitter to take this team stretch the field, or do you think that they'll try to get more out of Robbie Anderson against this kind of a defense?
Well, they'd love to get more out of both those guys. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is obviously a great player. It really, really hurts not to have Hollywood Brown ready to play, but at the end of the day, you need your superstars to be good, and then you need your backup players and or depth players to come in and play well when their name is called, right? And if that's Rondell Moore this week, then that's him this week. But Robbie Anderson is still a very good football player and can make big explosive plays for this team, and hopefully they can get him involved in this offense.
All right, here's what I want to know. I want to know how the defense is going to deal with Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. We saw what both of them can do and how they can light you up so quickly. How's that defense going to react?
That's a good question, because those guys are very, very, very difficult to defend. Both are very, very special players, and they're very, very special with the ball in their hands. The other thing for a coaching staff, it's a nightmare, because how do you identify him? Is Deebo Samuel a running back? He is the wide receiver. Christian McCaffrey, is he a running back or is he a wide receiver? Because that's going to dictate your personnel on defense. So obviously it'll be interesting to see that little chess match and how these teams, have prepared for it. I like Kyle Shanahan, the scheme that he runs, and you better believe he's going to find all kinds of ways to get the ball to Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey in this game tonight.
Yeah, I want to move on, talk about Arizona State. They got Arizona this week. You were 3-1 against Arizona. What is your fondest memory of playing against the Cats?
Oh man, that's like a really difficult question. It was a fun rivalry, a lot of fun games, a lot of fun moments. I think, interestingly, probably enough, I think a lot more about the game that we lost to them than the other three that we won when I was a starter. But I think to try to give an answer, I think the first time I got a chance to start and play against them is probably my fondest memory. I was very, very sick that game, and played horrible. I played horrible that game, but made one play at the end of the game that essentially got us the field goal to win it. And it was the first time I was a freshman, the whole 9 yards. And for me, it was a cool experience. Just first time playing in that football game the day after Thanksgiving. So that was fun.
So, Rudy, Roc asked about the memories. Is there certain plays that takes you back? You can still think, is it the plays you made or is it the plays you missed that you think about the most in that rivalry?
I mean, probably all of them. But, I mean, for me, one of the plays that I think about a lot happened in the same game. It was in 2007, and I essentially threw like an underhanded split pass from like the 5-yard line to the back of the end zone to Tyrese Thompson. That was a huge play in the football game. And I think it was Tyrese Thompson's only touchdown catch in his career on senior night. Obviously, there was a lot of tragedy around Tyrese and what happened to him a few years after that. So big-time play for him, big memory. But there's also another great play in that game on a slant and go where Chris McGaha made an unbelievable catch against Anton Payson. I think, from ASU's standpoint, there's a lot of famous pictures of that catch where he pinned the ball against his helmet, basically. But really, really cool play.
I would like to know, does your underground sources have any information as far as the coaching search?
I honestly, I have no idea. Look, I think it's interesting, I'm close friends with some of the candidates who have been mentioned, especially some of the local guys who have been mentioned. When I talk to their agents who I'm good friends with, they say we have not been contacted by anybody, but these names are being rumored. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. What I do know is that probably after this week, unfortunately for Sean Aguano, he's probably not going to be in the mix anymore.
Right. So let me ask you, Deion Sanders has been now, he's in talks with South Florida and Colorado. Would you like to see as an alum, if Deion Sanders was in the mix, would you be for it?
Sure, I'm for anything. There's been a lot of coaching changes while I was in school and after, and I've had my opinions on all of them, and I've literally been wrong every single time. So it's an impossible game to play. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? I just hope that essentially ASU finds a coach that can come here and stay here for a long time, because in my view, that's what it takes to build a program with some traditions. I think Utah is the model that we probably need to look at.
And speaking of that, what I'm hearing, and I don't know, Kenny Dillingham, offensive coordinator for Oregon. If Sean Aguano is going to have that shot, will he have to beat U of A this weekend to have that be part of that ring of potential candidates?
I think so. I think so. I like Sean. He's a good dude. I hope he gets a chance. I hope he gets an interview. I'm sure he will. But I think the way they played last week probably really, really, really hurt his chances, to be honest with you.
Rudy, quickly, your thoughts on what we witnessed over the weekend, USC and UCLA, one of the wildest football games that we had this past weekend.
What defense?
Really, 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 really great game. And honestly, in my view, very important for the Pac-12. I mean, it's so much better for the Pac-12 when we got teams that are good, and playing each other. And then when they have those national games, that they're playing really well, and those games are really good football games. So to me, I think the Rose Bowl is one of the coolest places in college football. The Coliseum, same thing. So obviously I was excited to watch the game.
Rudy, have a great Thanksgiving, you and your family. Thanks as always for making time for us.
All right, guys. Thank you. You too. Take care.
Rudy Carpenter joining us. Appreciate him taking some time. He's driven by All City Towing. If you're looking for a career change, All City Towing continues to hire. Head to allcitytowing.com as they have current and immediate full-time positions available, incredible benefits, a 401k program with a generous company match, and the fastest way to apply is online. So go to allcitytowing.com and just search careers. That's All City Towing. With Kyler Murray on the bench, Colt McCoy getting the start. Frank Sanders, former Cardinal, joins us next as we continue from the CAZ Sports Bar to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy V. Fox Sports 910.
This is what's trending on Fox Sports 910 Phoenix.
Suns guard Devin Booker was nominated for the NBA's Western Conference Player of the Week.
Seasons with the Arizona Cardinals. The Sandman.
It is caught. Touchdown Auburn. Sanders caught it. Touchdown Auburn. Touchdown Auburn.
Frank Sanders joins
Guys are hot.
All Sports with Roc and Manuch, now on Fox Sports 910.
Cardinals 49ers tonight, 6:15. We're out here at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, where the sports book is, the new sports book. Encourage you to come on down. The jackpot's at $2,500. Hopefully come on down and watch the game with us. Frank Sanders, former Cardinal, now on the line. So what do you think? Colt McCoy's going? Chances? What do they need to do? What do they need to do? Let's get it right out. What do they need to do to win this game?
Just throw me the damn ball, right, Frank?
Well, come on.
Whatever they did, hey, brother, whatever they did last year, let him do exactly what they did last year. I'm the only guy in the state of Arizona and on the planet that's got a Cliff Kingsbury tattoo because he took those same band of merry men into San Fran and got a goddamn win. And I say the same thing. If they get a win tonight with Cody, I'm probably going to get a pony somewhere tattooed on my butt cheek. I just can't believe it.
I'm just curious, since you went down this road, what is the actual tattoo of Cliff Kingsbury? Is it like a silhouette side of his face? Is it?
Does he have sunglasses on?
Does he got sunglasses on? Is he got the tight jeans on with the floods?
No socks.
What is it?
Little shadow, morning shadow.
When we get off the show, I'm going to post it, but it is K2. It's the K2 tattoo because remember we was all on the K1.
Yeah.
And Tyler, what he was doing, so I got the K2 for Cliff Kingsbury, and I saw that with the way he's sitting the K2 right in between the Cardinal bird, and it was well done last year over at THNX Cardinals studio. But guess what? If they win tonight, I might have to get a pony for Colt because this is good. This could be pretty crazy, brother.
Now is that a Shetland pony or is it like a pony from a real horse?
Well, he would beat the 49ers twice, and the tattoo needs to be pretty strong. So he's going to be a thoroughbred without a doubt.
Okay. You should probably get one of James Conner as well, too, who he went off last year in that 31-17 victory. Matter of fact, that's what got him his big money there, Frank.
No, you're absolutely right, man. It was a team effort last year, and guess what? The game plan was simple. It was on point. They had a lot of guys that did not play last year. D-Hops didn't play. Taylor Jones was out. I think JJ was hurt a little bit. And they just came up with a game plan and went over to 49ers, man, and I actually put a whooping on them. It was really surprising. I mean, you guys know that too. It was very surprising. Kyler being hurt, Colt goes in, gets a win, and he did it. And this is like, back-to-back weekends. And in the following week when he played the Carolina Panthers, it was a different story. But he's the backup quarterback for a reason. But what I do love about it is that he's a veteran, he's professional, and the team and the guys respect and respond to him. You need that out of your backup quarterback. You don't need a guy that the players feel like they have a guessing game. These guys feel like they got a starting quarterback. They just got a different starting quarterback in Colt, and they trust him. So hopefully they can come out with the game plan and be effective as well as efficient as they was last week versus the Rams.
Speaking of response, how about when you watch Hard Knocks last Wednesday, how the defense was responding on the sideline, watching Colt McCoy matriculate down the field? I mean, they were like, damn, he's getting out quick. They were like surprised that he was having so much efficiency on the field. Doesn't that bode well, Frank, for your defense to be a little jacked up watching Colt go down the field?
Oh, absolutely, man. There's something about that trust factor. It's crazy, right? Because when you see that the quarterback's going out there, man, and doing some stuff, moving the ball, giving you time to rest and recover, you realize that he's being effective versus the defense. Again, you're 50-50 with your backup quarterback coming in versus a top team, a top defensive team like the Rams, especially having the number one defensive player and the three-time defensive player in the NFL and Aaron Donald. You think that this is just going to be, you don't know what to expect. And in reality, that he went out and was able to be effective versus those guys, they were shocked just as well as everyone else that was watching, and you guys were just as well as I was. The Hard Knocks replay is absolutely fabulous to come back and see because then you get a different sense and feel of the attitude, the mentality, and then the response of how the guys feel about the players and their teammates. And when somebody like Colt goes out and gets the job done, and he's doing something that they haven't seen all year, like we haven't seen all year, you start to get a little bit more confident. And the guys know 3 and out is all they need to do to get the quarterback the ball back in his hand. And they were successful in doing that versus the Rams.
All right. So you just mentioned 3 and out. They've added another spectacular weapon in Christian McCaffrey. Deebo Samuel's healthy. Kittle is healthy. They are
Ayuk is healthy.
Ayuk is healthy. They're one of the most healthiest teams right now in the NFL. What the hell is the defense going to do to try to stop these guys?
Hold on, Jimmy. The trainer has the flu.
He's got okay, fair enough.
So that's the only one.
A pony?
This is a show, not a comedy, man. Stop that. Look, it only means that the win is going to be that much better, Jimmy B, because there'll be no excuses. Look, they got all the strength. All their strength is our weaknesses, and we know that. But the idea is that was the same thing last year, and we walked away with a win. It's a neutral site. It's going to be on Monday Night Football. The guys come out ready to play, man, and make the adjustment to the altitude. And Jimmy, honestly, it doesn't matter. You just got to beat your guy. That's all you're going to tell those guys. You do your job by beating that guy. Coach said it last week. Be where you're supposed to be. I'll get the ball to you. Do your job, and I'll do mine. And I think that's all you can ask for these guys. And seize the moment, because this is a national stage. The Cardinals have not fared very well, Rock, on a national stage. And so hopefully this will be a good moment that for the team that they could gel and come together versus another good team in your division that you potentially can win, because you've seen what you've done in the past with the same leadership of Colt McCoy.
All right, you just referenced Mexico City, 7,500 feet high. The Niners went to Colorado Springs and trained. The Cardinals stayed here in the desert. Is that going to be a difference in the game, or don't you see that being a factor?
80% of the fans are San Francisco.
Yes, they are.
You only make this. How do you slide that in at the end, though? Like,
I'm not making this easy for you.
I'm just trying to help.
Yeah.
I'm just helping Jimmy out. That's what I'm here for.
Frank, we're just throwing as many darts at you as we can. There, big fella.
Rocky, set the David down. I know you're out there. I know you're bet set, Rock. It's okay.
Oh, I bet it 2 weeks ago. I bet it 2 weeks. Hey, it's a lot to ask a team defense to outscore the other team to win. And that's what we're asking. We're asking this defense for the Cardinals to get a pick six, get a couple interceptions, get some luck with a fumble, right? I mean, it's clear that this offense is not working for Arizona.
So let's do this here. This is what we know. If their strength is Kittle and Christian McCaffrey and a new kid that just came back to running back, absolutely fabulous.
Ayuk.
That's their strength. Debo Samuels. That's another strength that they have. But where their weaknesses are is in Garoppolo, and we know that. So what we have to do with Jimmy G is present some packages that will offset him a little bit. Double team guys on downs that he don't think that they're going to be doubled, and call some creative plays that will kind of cause him to think more than just react. And I think that's been the number that Vance Joseph has been able to dial up. So hopefully he can come together with the defense. They do their job very well because they understand that they're gonna make plays, but at the end of the day, you just have to make one more play than them, and to get them off the number. I think that will be the thing for us, all defensive wise. Offensively, we got to be effective again, like we was last week. Find out where the weaknesses are and try to exploit them. Colt has to understand that he's the quarterback in the moment, and he has to seize the day. Manuch, you know it. You know what it feels like. The jitters, the nerves, the crowd means nothing. None of that means anything. You got 35 seconds in between that clock to reset, reboot, reload, and react and respond and get your job done. That's it. If they go out and do that, then they got a chance to win and win a good game versus a pretty good team.
Frank, why can this team not take a few shots down the field? Just go max protect. You got Robbie Anderson. You look at Moore. You got D. I mean, just take 3 or 4 shots. I remember back in the day, Jake would take at least 3 shots just to you alone with max protect. Why are we not seeing that with this offense?
That was Jack Daniels.
Oh. We
Backed
always
up by
take shots
Jake
at Jack
Plummer.
Daniels.
Yes.
We can always take shots at Jack Daniels.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And there might have been a few by some of those quarterbacks in the Cardinals back in the day.
Bad game there, son.
Never hurts, brother. Here's the difference. Here's the difference with our offense right now. We don't have our running game is not strong enough downhill to create the opportunity where you can necessarily have to pull the safeties up to try to stop our running game. They're figuring they can stop our running game with the front 7. our running game has not been explosive enough to get to the second level in that regards where you have to be concerned. So you bring a safety down, which presents one-on-one on the outside. So that's number one. Number two, we don't really run play action. So since we don't run play action, there's nothing really there to draw the coverage up, to kind of make these guys. We don't disguise it with trick plays that are like the flea flick or anything like that, because our running game's not as effective. So when you hear people saying they're just going to play the too high coverage versus us, get four wide on the D line, and then just stop the run on the way to the pass, that's exactly been the game plan for the last 9 to 12 games. And it has not, so it doesn't necessarily present the deep ball. There were some more opportunities where we saw Rondell Moore by himself. And I thought that was one of the first deep balls we can say that was thrown in a long time to a single covered receiver. That might be an option going forward if Hollywood Brown gets back. B-Hops and AJ Green, they're not going to be the burners. I mean, they're between Rondell Moore and Mr. Anderson, those are only two deep ball options we got right now. And so since our running game is not so explosive in the downhill game, defenses do not have to necessarily come up from that standpoint. So that's the only reason why. Is it possible something maybe down the road could happen? We might be able to see that, but it would probably be between 35 and like a 45-yard throw. We won't see the 60 to 65-yard throw that you might see in with some younger quarterbacks with strong arms.
He's Frank Sanders. You can follow him on Twitter at FrankSanders81. He's part of the GoPHNX.com family. As always, you can check him out there with all your Cardinal coverage. Buddy, as always, man, thank you and you and your family a wonderful Thanksgiving. All right, bud? We'll talk to you next week.
You too, brothers. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, man. Love you guys.
See you, Frank.
That's Frank Sanders. We'll come back with more as we continue from the CAZ Sports Bar. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Law Firm. Just make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
Pulisic on the run. Pulisic
Guys are hot.
Pulisic rolls it in. Tim
John Strong, play-by-play guy for Fox for the World Cup as Team USA a draw today. Wales, that was the first goal of the game in the first half. Wales came back on a PK in the second half to even up that draw. 1-1. Disappointing. Very disappointing. That's brought to you by Lerner and Rowe. Let's get to what's on tap tonight. There's only two things you need to watch. Maybe three for Manuch. But Monday Night Football tonight, of course, 6:15 on ESPN. Cardinals and 49ers. Tonight at 9:30, you got Arizona and Cincinnati for the Maui Invitational. I believe at 9:30 start on that one. And Manuch, I didn't know it's been going on this long. 31st season finale of Dancing with the Stars.
Matter of fact, one of the star dancers, she's going to be retiring after 25 seasons. She's going to be
You gonna be all right with that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Good.
I think so because most of her guys that have danced with her have done a pretty good job as far as winning. I think Emmitt Smith danced with her and he won the whole
I
thing.
would do
Jerry Rice
so bad on that show.
Yes, you would.
I can't move.
Can you not? Must have moved, Rob.
Not even. No,
Yeah.
I would love to do that. Like you see these TikToks where there's a wedding and the wedding,
Yes.
the groomsmen all practice
Yeah.
and then they surprise his wife, and I would love to do that.
Well, you get a little showroom, you get a foxtrot or a little swing or whatever. That's
Fuck
good
no,
stuff.
Rob, shut up.
Oh, yeah. I did
Ruined my story. Hey, what's on tap is powered every day right here on Roc and Manuch GBB by America's leading home selling program. That's 72 Sold. Everyone knows the home sales market is getting tougher. The number of sales are down. Prices are down, though. And 72 Sold is still getting top dollar for their customers. You're making a mistake if you go the traditional route. So go to 72sold.com. Get your price, a higher price at 72 Sold. My bet tonight.
Yeah. What is it?
Going with a Deebo Samuel prop.
Okay.
Which is
over 0.5 touchdowns. The Cardinals have allowed 12 rushing touchdowns, 16 passing touchdowns in the red zone.
Wow.
Samuel
16.
hasn't gone. He's gone 3 games without a touchdown.
Right.
I think this is.
Well, he
gonna
was
be the
hurt
night.
there for a few games.
Yeah,
too.
he was.
Yeah.
But I think tonight, the injuries have been a key for that. But I think tonight that's going to be the one. I think Samuel's going to have him and McCaffrey are going to go off.
They're going to.
I hate to say that,
Yep.
but it's a terrific opportunity for them to score on Monday Night Football if they allow this.
CMC in the backfield, Deebo Samuel receiver, Kittle, Ayuk. This offensive line is completely healthy. They're healthy. They got all hands on deck. Jimmy G, if he gets a protection, is very, very effective. But the other on top of that, you look at the way how effective they are at times and how Kyle Shanahan can throw a few wrinkles at you and have that kind of success. So
he had McCaffrey throwing a pass in that one game.
There's a lot that Kyle Shanahan can do because now CMC's been in 4 weeks now.
Yes.
So he's settling in. Ayuk is healthy. Deebo coming back. This will be his second week back being healthy. Either this game is over early and San Fran blows the doors off them, or the Cardinals can get a few stops, maybe get a pick, maybe get a turnover, and keep this a close game until the third quarter. But I think it's going to be the Cardinals defense, Rocky mentioned, is going to have to put a lot of pressure on Jimmy and prevent the big plays, especially in the red zone.
In your estimation, does the Cardinal defense then have to create a touchdown, whether like a pick six or a fumble recovery, a scoop and score, something like that?
I think that they know that if they put enough pressure on Jimmy and throw a few disguises at him, that he can cough one up once in a while. But that's part of that pressure. That's part of what you talked about earlier about J.J. Watt got to step up. You're going to have Zaven Collins and Isaiah Simmons on the same page.
Yes.
Because Kyle Shanahan confused the hell out of a young linebacking core. And on top of that, Simmons, I hope he doesn't get burned. He's going to get beat a couple times with Kittle.
Right.
We know that.
Yes.
So who's going to be the ones in that red zone that are going to cover and help him over the top. But if you cover him, you got Ayuk, you got CMC coming out of the backfield. Oh, yeah, by the way, Deebo Samuel. So you got a plethora of guys coming out of the red zone, which is going to make it very difficult.
Could be a long night.
It could be a long night.
But then again, they surprise you.
It's why you play the game.
They surprise you, yeah.
It's why you play the game.
I wasn't real sure last week in LA, but their quarterback was horrible.
Yeah, they had Wolford.
Wolford was.
By the way, got to give Bryce Perkins some love. He came in there into the third quarter, throughout the fourth quarter, 5 for 10, 39 yards rushing. Gave the Rams a chance because Wolford was hurt.
Right.
So Stafford went down again, concussion protocol. So maybe Bryce starts next week. We'll see. But good job by Bryce Perkins. Go ahead and stand up for the Rams.
So the big stories we talked about today. We spent a lot of time talking about. It's just I feel bad. I bring it up once again. It's unfortunate that Kendall Jenner and Devin Booker split.
Suns fans should love that. Are you kidding me?
I was going to say, this is really bothering you.
I feel bad for Devin if she did it because, Kendall Jenner? Are you kidding me?
Well, sometimes the old saying is,
what is
beauty's not in the eye of the beholder.
No, it is with her.
Yeah, well,
sorry. She's got money.
Yeah.
Lots of it.
Money,
he does
looks,
too.
I know. They were a power couple, man.
Yeah, but she may have
a power couple.
Looks aren't everything, Rock. Can't judge a book by its cover, man.
I disagree on this
more
one.
with that.
I disagree.
Totally disagree on that one.
So you learn to live with it, huh?
Yeah,
That's what you're saying?
I'm judging that book.
No, because that cover looked great.
She makes what, 60, 70 million a year, and he's only making 45. They've all got their money, but
their just schedules didn't work. It's unfortunate.
Well, you just don't.
And Deion Sanders is talking to Colorado and South Florida. The guy that I keep talking about, I keep going back to, and it's before he got fired at Carolina's Matt Rule. What he was able to do at Baylor and Temple, I think would be a nice fit for Arizona State. If they go that route.
If they go that route, and if they want to pony up the money to bring in somebody like that, that's what ASU's going to have to do. Hearing that Dillingham, though, is the odds on. What I'm hearing is that Dillingham's kind of the guy that ASU's got their eyes on for now. So we'll see.
Well, they should have their eyes on several people, not just one.
Yeah, Dillingham seems to be the flavor of the week.
I get it.
Or the month.
Man.
Stay posted, folks.
Anyway, come on out. Join us here at Casino Arizona, the CAZ Sports Bar. It's 101 at McKellips.
10.
Got a sports book. You can bet the game and win some cash just for watching football with us. We'll see you in a couple hours.